for us. Big announcements. We got a new sponsor, guys. I'm fucking pumped for this. Also, tomorrow I have a big guest coming on, a good friend of mine that I'm extremely excited to have on the podcast. So this ad read's going to be a little different. I'm going to just kind of talk about all the cool shit we got going on. Let me get these sponsorships out of the way real quick. So this episode of the podcast is sponsored by our brand new sponsor, Werner Elements. Werner Elements is your partner in growth. Now, before I even get into this fucking ad read, you guys, I want to ask you a question. Are you starting a small business? Have you started a small business? Are you thinking about starting a small business? Because this is the guy you need in your corner. Okay, Werner Elements is your partner in growth. We specialize in working with startups and small businesses with a focus on community growth. Werner Elements is your one-stop shop for all your marketing and graphic design needs, from logo creation, website design / management to content creation, setting up social media, and creating ad campaigns. Our community is stronger than ever. If there's something we don't offer, we know someone who can. Yes, we can do that. That's technically their tagline. Yes, we can do that. Werner Elements, if you go to wernerelements.com, you can get 10% off your first contract by using promo code SINGER when you reach out and check out with those guys. Now, I'm working with Scott, okay? Now, you guys haven't seen a lot of evidence of what we've been doing together. But I hired Scott, and he really liked the podcast, so he wanted to start advertising. You're going to see an actual revamping of my website coming up here in the next probably week or two, I would say. It should be unleashed. He's going to help you dig into your social medias, get you that online presence. So if you're trying to do this thing part-time on the side because you got a real job, that's fine. Why not make as much money as you possibly can? I mean, if you're going to work 10 hours a week, you should make as much money during that 10 hours a week as you can, right? It's common sense. So hit up the guys over at Werner Elements and use promo code SINGER to save 10%. So wernerelements.com, that's WERNER, elements.com, promo code SINGER. This episode of the podcast, guess what, you guys? It's also sponsored by Shooter Loop. Yes, that is correct. Join the revolution. I've been reading this one so long that I have to fuck around with it just to have a little bit of fun. There's online support, you guys. If you're ever confused or frustrated with the product, reach out to those guys. They're awesome. They have free shipping on all orders within the United States and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Shooter Loop is a 2-stage cleaning system for your guns, you guys. We're all buying crazy amounts of guns right now. I just went to the gun store the other day, and you can't fucking find a gun. Literally, they've got nothing. It's worse than it was at the beginning of the pandemic. So I know all you motherfuckers are buying shit. If you're going to buy shit, if you're going to buy weapons, take care of them bitches, right? I mean, think about it. Your gun is like a woman. What kind of man has a woman and doesn't treat her nice? That's what you got to do with your guns. It's a 2-stage cleaning system, you guys. They have the military-grade cleaning solvent, where the new technology has you cleaning your gun better than ever. It's simply the best. Simply the best. I do use it on all my guns. I use it on my AR, both my shotguns and our handguns. It is odorless. There's no water. It fully evaporates, leaves no residue, no hazard ingredients per the EPA. It has a high flash point, non-corrosive, does not freeze, and it's non-flammable. That's the cleaning solvent. The second stage is the extreme weapons oil. And this is really cool too, you guys. It's biodegradable, non-flammable, non-toxic, 100% synthetic. I'm Mike Tyson. It's got low odor, non-staining, rust and corrosion protection, and it reduces wear and friction. Shop now, join the revolution, go there, buy whatever you're going to buy, and make sure you use use the promo code SINGER at checkout. You'll save 10%. So again, free shipping on all orders in the U.S., 100% satisfaction guarantee, and if you use SINGER at checkout, you can save 10%. So join the revolution and go to shooterlube.com and use code SINGER at checkout. Okay, so on with that. So I'm super excited, you guys. This week we have no metal musicians on. Not that I don't like metal musicians. I mean, hell, I am a metal musician, but sorry, I had to light my smoke there. I'm excited because this week I don't have any metal musicians on. Today we have Wally Joseph. Tomorrow I've got Ezra Tuaolo. I just realized I've been pronouncing that wrong virtually my entire life. Ezra's cool as fuck. Used to play for the Vikings. Super amazing dude. And then Thursday, I have Randy and Carlo coming back. So we got Wally, we got a football player, and we got a comedian. Looking forward to it. Super excited. Wally's been on the podcast a few times already. He came on with his daughter once. Just an all-around great guy. Is producing my album with me and Montoya. I'm on guitar. Montoya's on vocals. A lot of you guys in the scene know who I'm talking about. And I just couldn't be more thrilled to have him as my buddy and have him into the studio to sit down and shoot the shit on another podcast. So let's welcome to the show, Wally Joseph. I think we're live. Boom.
There we are.
There we go. Wally, how are you doing this morning?
I'm waking up.
Good.
Waking up. I managed to get a little bit of sleep last night, and it's been just wonderfully chaotic, actually. But it's causing me to have insomnia, man. I'm just losing my noodle right now and stuff like that. You know, I lay down for a couple hours, and it's just like it takes me at least 3 or 4 hours just to get to bed. And
explain to people what the fuck's going on. So you're like developing some weird version of insomnia, and why do you think it is? Because you're just working so much.
Once my wheels get spinning, it's over, and I'm on like 4 different album projects right now. I've got a new studio situation going on over in Andover and stuff, and yeah, and so literally I'm working around the clock, and you know, musicians always work late and shit, so it's kind of one of those deals. But yeah, man, I am I don't know. As soon as I put my head down on that pillow, nope. It's a whole lot of nope.
So what's happening? Your brain just won't shut off?
It just will not shut off.
Yeah. So, dude, I know exactly how you feel, and that's what happens to me when I'm running something that's important and new, right? So when I used to do those live production concerts, you went to a couple of them. Yeah. Like they were legit. They were cool.
Absolutely.
You know, especially at the time when no one could draw anyone to a show at all. Remember that?
Yep.
Like you'd be lucky to get 50 people in the building total. All 4 bands total. But we were still doing like 200, 300, you know, and remember we'd be like, "Hey man, nice crowd tonight." And I'd be like, "Yeah, fucking should be a lot bigger."
We were playing in God, I want to say it was like Columbus, Ohio or something like that. And on the wall in the dressing room, there's this giant penis. And we're looking at it, and underneath it says, "If you can't draw a crowd, draw a dick on the wall." I'm like, okay, there you go. Fair enough.
That works for me.
It's just really stupid and funny at the time. I don't know.
I mean, that's what else are you going to do? You know? But yeah, dude, I wouldn't sleep. I literally wouldn't sleep the night before those concerts. So it wasn't because I was playing. Because I didn't even play all my own concerts. Most of them, you know, I rarely threw a concert that I wasn't on until I started adding bands to the roster, and then it happened quite a bit. But I wouldn't sleep the night before,
thinking of all the things that you should have done or could have done.
Yeah, and it had nothing to do. It had nothing to do with the fact that I was playing a show. It had to do that I was running the concert from top to bottom, booking, fucking working with the club, literally working with the club, like figuring out drink specials. Like, did I get everything right? Did the flyers go out? Should I have done this? Did I miss this? Did I forget that? And that kind of shit, especially the outdoor ones, because there's more variables. And then when I first started this podcast,
outdoor shows are the fucking worst to try to put together, dude. That's hard shit,
dude. The night before the first podcast, I didn't really sleep. You know, I didn't. I didn't get my fucking setup working until Zach showed up. I think it was a Friday night. Maybe it was a Thursday night. Doesn't matter. It was the night before at like 2 a.m. when I finally got it all working.
Yeah.
And then I tried to go to sleep, and all I could think about is like, yeah, but what if it doesn't work tomorrow?
Right.
So I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think one of the best things that I've ever done when that's happening is I try to focus on one problem that I can fix, that I know I can fix.
Right.
So it's like, you know how they tell you the reason you want to make your day every morning is that the rest of the day, no matter how bad it goes, at least when you go back to bed that night, you come back to you've got that one victory at least. So the whole day's not fucked, right?
That's a good point, yeah.
I think when I fall asleep and I'm having that anxiety and I can't sleep, and I don't even know if this is advice. This is just kind of how I've made sure it doesn't spin out more than just the night before the show. So it's not the week leading up to these concerts or whatever. It's just that one night. is I focus on one easy problem that I know I can fix that I've neglected.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on the 6 problems I haven't figured out yet. Because I'm like you, my brain will just keep going to keep me up. So I cycle through until I find an issue that I know I can come to a resolution. And then I just think about that until I fall asleep.
I think my deal is that I'm going through my head. It's like, well, did I do this? Should I try this? Should I just, it's just like, because I don't know, creativity just kind of flows through me and stuff like that. So I'll be, laying in bed just thinking of like, well, damn it, what if we threw this effect on this chorus, or we did, I don't know, or we shifted this bridge around, or did something.
I know you don't
just
smoke
like
pot, but have you tried like CBD or any of that kind of shit? Because CBD won't get you high at all. There's no THC in it.
Yeah, I mean, I have like a couple times and stuff like that. All day was just, kind of just make me very, very mellow.
Doesn't help you sleep.
No, it didn't help me sleep. Not even a little bit. No. But
people are taking that shit for all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Anti-anxiety, fucking inflammation.
Yep.
Sleep aid.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I like a good Tanqueray tonic and a little vodka sometimes and stuff like that. And but even that lately has been one of those things where I'll just make myself a really fucking strong drink and we'll just see if that helps. And nope. No,
well,
I just get drunk and
not only that, but it may make you pass out. It may put you to sleep, but it's actually going to make the quality of your sleep worse.
Yeah.
Any drugs.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Any drugs, weed, alcohol, nicotine, they all siphon off REM sleep. And so when you don't have enough REM sleep, you don't get good sleep. And when you don't get good sleep, you wake up tired no matter what is going on. So like, you tried working out?
Dude, my ass has been glued to a studio chair for the last 4 months.
Well, right,
like,
but at some point in time, you stop working and you try to go to bed.
Yeah,
and that's what your issue is going directly from being creative to trying to go to sleep,
and the brain's still going.
Yeah, so like maybe like literally go, okay, so when I leave the studio, I either stop at the gym or maybe you bring weights to the studio, or that would actually probably be the best thing. So seriously, so like bring your weights.
No, that's a really good
bring
idea.
Bring a couple weights to the studio, and when you're done, do like literally as many fucking curls as you can. Do the overhead presses. I'm sure either Eric Kais or Jeremy Blake or even my boy Anwar, who's been on the podcast, any one of them will give you an easy, quick 20-minute workout to just literally fatigue your body and get that version of your adrenaline going. Because then on your way home, as your drive home, you're sitting there. And then by the time you get home, all those chemicals should have fucking like had their run, and that should help. That's my only advice is try to work out before bed. I know it sounds insane, but it's one of the best times to work out.
No, and I think that's part of the reason why I probably did sleep a lot better before all the shutdown bullshit was that we were doing shows.
Yep.
And the My Famous Friend stuff, the production is fucking huge. I mean, we've got TVs, we've got speaker cabinets, we've got fucking all the shit. So it's literally a whole lot of like manual labor that I'm doing at the end of the night. We get done at 1:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever the hell. But we're breaking down gear to like 2, 3 in the morning sometimes or whatever, and then we're loading it in this giant box truck. So it's like there's all this heavy lifting, all this manual labor and shit like that. So we haven't been doing that. So we've been off respectively for the last few months, so it should make sense why there's just none of that. There's just none of that physical activity. And now you bring me donuts and I'm going to gain another fucking 400 pounds here.
I didn't bring you donuts. I didn't bring you donuts. I bought donuts and you came over.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I didn't bring shit. You brought your own ass.
When you throw this kind of shit in front of my face, dude, it's
just make sure you don't eat into the mic. Just make sure you don't eat in the mic, because that'll not only drive me nuts, because I can hear it because we're in the cans, but it'll fucking drive the listeners nuts too. We were just joking on this on the last podcast. That's why I never have food on the podcast. It's because motherfuckers eat and smack their lips in the mic.
Right.
And that is not only one of my biggest pet peeves, but for listeners, it's not enjoyable.
Dude, it's great on if you're a K-Fan guy or whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, in the morning show?
When Common eats on the air. I love it.
It's the worst.
I actually think I think it's really funny too, because he's just like, I don't get a lunch break, whatever. It's just because he just doesn't give a fuck.
Then eat on your commercial breaks, you fuck. God, I mean, I get his genius of his comedy. I really do understand why.
I think he's fantastic.
I can't stand it. It's just,
really?
It's too dry for me. It's too, like, believe it or not, it's too dry for me.
Really?
Even for me, there's a line on how dry my comedy can get. Like, okay. I don't know. The bits are tired for me too. He's been doing the same thing for 20 years.
Oh, for sure.
That's the other thing with it too.
For
it's
sure.
like,
but the beauty of it is that there's always new people who are, when they especially when they get that,
that's true,
the fishing line, and he's reeling them in or just whatever, and they're not getting it. Like,
I do like that bit. That's a great bit. Explain to anybody who doesn't understand what we're talking about.
Okay, so he has like a format of things. It's the same jokes more or less.
It's a local sports talk radio host we're talking about here. His name's Dan Common Man Cole.
Yeah, and it's absolutely brilliant. The way that he just, he intentionally fucks up people's names all over the place. Or
give people an example, because it's egregious, you guys.
God damn it! Like he'll, who's that quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers? Oh yeah, Joe Montoya. Like he'll just, whatever, throw, just change the name or do something or whatever, and people will call him. Well, no, man, actually it's Joe Montana. And then you'll hear the zzz, like the
casting,
just casting out the rod and just reeling them in. It's just
because he hooked one and now
and it's awesome and it works and it's the greatest. But having I think Mark Rosen involved with it too, who is sports guy on Channel 4 forever, and Rosen's just got that lovable personality and stuff like that. And so when they go back and forth, it's pretty fun. It's pretty awesome.
I would say he's my least favorite K-Fan personality.
Common Man?
Yeah, hands down. It's not even close. But I do understand why they haven't gotten rid of him. I'm not saying they should get rid of him. I get it. I'm over it.
Right.
I'm not trying to sound like an elitist or anything, but you just get burnt out after a while, dude. I mean, fuck, you can only handle so much of the same shit for 20 years.
there is some of that comes along with it too.
I mean, if somebody quit watching this because I've been doing the same thing for 20 years, I don't think I'd blame them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep. So I did some songwriting for Chris Hockey.
Yeah, he's a fucking sweet dude. From everybody I know that's ever met him, they're like, that guy's awesome. I've never heard a negative word about him.
And it's kind of weird. Like I don't know if what the heck, I have a song called it's a Skywind song actually called "Long Way Home," and he re-recorded it and whatnot and put all this massive crazy ass production on it and shit, and it's
Do you sell them?
It's cool.
Do you sell him the song or sell him rights or just let him?
Yeah, rights.
You licensed? Yeah, how does that work? I know we don't want to blow your spot up, but for listeners, this is one of the coolest things about my podcast is like we can actually get into the business and how it works, because this is one of the things that holds us back when we're newbies is we don't understand this lingo or how to do things. So in this instance, without divulging too much, how did that work? Did you sell him a license right?
It's more or less, I mean, right now it's kind of on the honor system, but if something happens with it, which I don't, he's not out there pushing it or promoting it or anything like that. So it's just like, I think it was more or less fun for him. He liked the song.
That's cool.
And wanted to just do it. And if
how'd you meet him?
It's kind of weird because I've done shows or a couple shows with him before in the past. He has some band members that I was in cahoots with too and whatnot. Mark Pewter was his drummer for a while, and Mark is the drummer for Via and a band called The Push. And Mark's a very good friend. I've got them in right now, working on their new record. Via, that is. Yeah, it's kind of weird. We just know a lot of the same people, and so it all just kind of he's working with Kat Perkins's boyfriend or whatever.
Oh, no shit.
And so he's more or less kind of quarterbacking the whole thing. And and so they just kind of like, hey, if you got some B material or whatever you want to throw our way and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, sure, and actually that song is that we're going to actually release that as a Skywind song on the next record when we do decide to actually get back and do it. Right now I've just got my head in too many places and stuff, and yeah, I just Rich bugged me the other day, Skywind drummer, when the hell are we going to get started and stuff? I'm just like, man,
Well, and then we got my project on the docket.
Yeah, we got you.
Jeremy's in my ass about that daily.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dude, I can't do anything more right now.
I know.
We either need to, and there's been a couple drummers. I don't know that he wants me to drop his name yet. I think he'd rather, I think he'd rather have it like done. But there's a new drummer that stepped up.
Okay,
so. Like, this whole thing is hilarious. So Jeremy will end up watching this. So we might as well just explain it together right now. So when he watches this thing can get fucking put to bed.
Yeah.
Okay. How this was originally going to work is I was going to shittily track my demo drums.
Yeah.
You asked for 4 microphones. You were going to isolate frequencies and use some magic Wally fucking powers and sound replace them. I've heard you do this in the past. Very impressive.
Thanks, man.
Once that was done, and you were like, don't worry if you fuck up a beat, if it's a little sloppy in a section, I can move a beat over.
Yeah.
You're like, just get me the fucking tracks, scratch tracks. I don't even care if they sound good. Just I need 4 mics. So we did that. And then you got busy, obviously. So that got put on the back burner. And then Dalton jumped on board and he's like, well, what can I do to help fire this thing up? And I'm like, honestly, just lay down solos because we're waiting for Wally at this point. And then he's like, well, let me take a crack at programming the drums.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay. But that's not fair to you, and it's going to be impossible because you're not a drummer, dude. Like, no offense, you're just going to miss a lot. But he was very impressive in what he did do. But it takes a lot of time, and that man also has a life and a girlfriend and a kid, and he's back in school. You know what I mean? So it's like that was never the actual plan. And then the only alternative is to either wait for you or to find a live drummer that can take the shitty sounding scratch tracks I have where shit's a little sloppy and offbeat or just sound whatever.
Yeah.
And actually track them.
Yeah.
Like, because they have a home studio with a setup and things like that. The biggest issue is that as soon as somebody hears that, they're like, oh, well, we should change this. We should do this. We should do this. And it's like, dude, I just need those first fucking demos done because all the things you're talking about are like actual pre-production. We're not even there yet.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're going to do with Wally. But we got to get these first shitty demos done so we have a true starting point because we've never once actually finished a demo of a song that I've written. They're versions of them. Yeah. We've never once even been able to tell if the original idea is a good or a bad idea.
Right.
Because it's being changed before it's being executed. And that's very hard to deal with because I would be fine with that if we were churning out these versions like every 3-4 days. Yeah. But it's like when I have to wait for 3 months for somebody to give me a version and then it's not even the same idea. They've tweaked it and done something different with it. Yeah. And I'm not calling anybody out. I'm not actually talking about Dalton or any of the drummers that have stepped up. I'm talking about other guys that haven't made it into the project. And that's why. Yep. It's like, dude, that's not, I mean, come on, bro. Like, that is so far. Like, I sent you the track and you sent me a long email of changes you want to make. And it's like, you're not even in the band yet. Like, literally.
See, that's why.
Like, who does that on an audition tape? Now, again, like the drummers that have stepped up, I'm not talking about the drummers because that's different. Like, they're not auditioning for the band. Yeah. Right? They're stepping up like, hey, can I help? I'll try to help you track the drums and shit like that, you know? So it's a totally, I don't want anybody to think I'm calling them out or being weird.
Dude, that's why it's just like I've gotten to that point now. It's Skywind is my baby. You know, and I love all the guys in it and stuff like that, and everybody's got their own little creative sauce that they put all over everything and stuff, and it's fantastic. It makes a delicious soup. But
and you gotta in like Skywind's different because you guys have been a band for 80 years, but like
but even then the game has changed.
And you gotta earn that equity is what I was gonna say. It's like
when you first start, and that goes for a lot of bands. It's just like you're 4 guys, 5 guys jamming in a room and coming up with riffs and ideas and all that kind of stuff. We're now, excuse me, and you're you're competing for volumes and stuff like that, so you don't get to pay attention to these little things, like dynamics and just subtle changes and stuff like that. Where because your fucking Marshall behind you is at 11. And you're trying to fucking hear over the drummer's snare drum. Well, then you're screaming into a microphone. You don't know your own voice. You don't know. It's just there's so much unless you've got like in-ear monitors and a good mix and stuff like that, which, you know, some people are lucky enough to have that kind of stuff, but most bands starting out they're not going that far. It's for the fun, it's for the love of it. But now you can just sit and like I've just decided, you know, like I wrote that solo record over quarantine and stuff. And
Quarantunes,
right?
Where can people find that?
Everywhere, iTunes, Spotify, all that shit.
Once this is done, I'll put it in the links. I forgot to put that one
that's
in
cool,
there.
man.
I didn't even list any links in your shit this morning. I totally fucked up. I usually put links. Follow him at blah 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 blah. Check back later. I'll do it. By the time I put this up on audio, those links will be in there.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll get it done.
No, that's kick ass.
Wally Joseph Quarantunes, right?
Yep.
Just wherever you listen to music.
Yep, exactly. And yeah, but it's like, you know, over that time I really got to sit around and kind of dial in like my own sound, not necessarily what Skywind is, you know, because granted, yeah, I did the majority of the songwriting and stuff like that, and you know,
right, but you're not playing all the instruments.
Yeah, exactly. So now this time it's like I was able to kind of quarterback the whole thing and stuff, and now I'm in the process of I'm 2 songs deep into another one right now.
I like that analogy of quarterbacking it, because you're not the head coach. You're not dictating game plans. You're quarterbacking, which means you're acknowledging like it's a team deal.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where I want to get. And that's where these guys are trying to come from. And I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tough. It's like, dude, like right now we just got to get this done first.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you like, it started with Dalton, right?
Yeah.
Dalton's like, oh, I want to do this. And I'm like, dude, just get this done first, and then give me all those other versions. And as soon as he did that, I'm like, yeah, I love that idea, and I love that idea. Let's do that instead. And so, but it's still got to be earned. It's not gonna. I don't want to hear all of these versions in your first take in your audition tape.
Yeah,
it's overwhelming.
Yeah,
I want to hear, can you do this first? And if you can do this first, then show me what else you can do. And then if you decide you want to be a full-fledged band member, then you can have 100% creative say over your parts.
Yeah.
But if you're
That's cool that you're willing to do that, man.
You know what I mean, though? But if you're just stepping in, it's like, dude, all you're doing is tracking the bass.
Yeah.
Like, no, dude, you're not rewriting anything.
Yeah.
Like, you literally told me you don't want to be in the band and play shows and tour. All you want to do is track the parts, because that's all you have time for.
Yeah.
If you say all you have time to do is go in and track, and you can't come to rehearsal, and you can't come here and jam and write parts with me and all that, and you're not really in the band, dude.
No, not at all.
So why would I give you that much songwriting say? And this also hasn't happened with a specific bass player. I'm just throwing that hypothetically out there. There's only 2 actual band members other than me. It's Montoya and fucking Dalton. But that's the point, is if you're going to write, record, and perform all your own parts, then you're a full-fledged band member, and then you get 100% say on your instrument. Like if Montoya's really fucking married to this fucking stupid vocal line I hate, and I fucking go, hey man, this sucks. This sucks. We got to change it. Like, I don't like blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I'm going to die on this hill. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Then I'm not going to kill you on that hill. I'm just going to walk away and go, okay, it means that much to him, because he's a full-fledged band member.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same thing with Dalton. If he's like, I love this solo, I'm like, fine. Because I got to trust the fact that he knows what he's doing, because that's his instrument. He's the pro at that instrument. And that's why I wanted him in the band.
Yeah.
You see what I'm getting at?
No, I do. And that's a very cool thing you said there, because I remember certain instances, like, you know, when you're young and dumb, and like, you know, it's just like I remember being what was I, you know, 22, 23 in the studio working with, you know, all the Skywind guys and stuff like that. And for example, my keyboard player, Mike, had come up with this keyboard line for the song we had called New Year Revolution. And I fucking hated it. I was
like, keyboard line?
Yeah. And it was this very dissonant, like, it just did not make sense at all with what was going on in the chorus. And I thought we had a really, really good song. I'm like, this song's kind of special. I'm like, you know, so it's like, you know, when you're young and dumb, you're fucking willing to die for it and whatnot. And, you know, because, you know, you've got, you know, as a songwriter and stuff like that, you've got all this personal meaning behind it and shit like that. So it's like, there's that plays into it too. When realistically, once it kind of fit in with the mix, it made so much sense why he did that. Right. But I was just so like, you know, being such a dickhead about it and stuff like that. Like, no, dude, it's got to be this. And just the shouting match that ensued was just so not fucking worth it. After that, I mean, we literally wasted an entire night of productivity at, and the studio that we were at, they're charging by the hour.
Dude,
so
I've literally been I've been pressured and kicked out of bands for it.
Yeah.
I remember that's one of the driving factors where I got kicked out of my very original band where I wrote all the music.
Yeah.
Right. And then we couldn't find a singer.
Mm-hmm.
So I handed my guitar literally to another person, and I was like, okay, you're going to play my guitar parts, and then I'm just going to sing until we find another singer, and then I'll go back to guitar. That never happened.
Right.
We never found another singer. So I started writing the vocals. I started taking it seriously, and then my band members at the time didn't like some of my lyrics, and I wasn't willing to change them. And they were like, well, we don't want to be in a band that has those kind of lyrics. And like people are really uncomfortable because it was some juvenile line. I was fucking 15 or 16. It was something about like that. The line was literally, I believe, like, do you believe in God? Fuck that. I'm your God. And it wasn't about me. It was the song had like a message. I don't remember what the song was about. I think the song was something stupid like the idea of sin becoming things that people were, some fucking dumbass juvenile idea, but they literally eventually kicked me out of the band over it. My own band, because they didn't like the lyrics I was writing.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, like, fuck you. You don't have to sing the lyric. And then that was the other thing is they wanted input. They wanted to start writing lyrics with me.
Right.
And I'm like, no. These are my lyrics. I have to sing these. It's my mouth moving, and they're like, yeah, but they represent the whole band, and like we want songs that like we can all. And I'm like, fuck you guys. God, I hated that. I hated being in that band. The guys in that band were so fucking insecure. So
it sounds
everything.
like they did you a favor.
I remember when we did a battle of the bands with Joe Spanbauer. Every band. He requested a picture of the lead singers because the flyer theme was just the picture of the singers in a circle.
Okay.
Right. So the names of each band and then a picture of their lead singer in a circle.
For sure.
Looked really nice and professional.
Okay.
They refused. They sent a picture of the whole band.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't see us. The picture had been shrunken down so much. You couldn't see any of us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you fucking egomaniacs. That's the crazy thing is like their egos were so small. It was actually worse than having a big ego because it started affecting the integrity of the music and the presentation.
Yeah.
It was like, fuck, I'll never do that shit again, dude.
See, man,
there were so many red flags I learned from that band. Like,
I guess, first getting off the ground and stuff like that. Like I remember we had a different guitar player at the time.
This is before Brian Adams.
This is before Brian.
So I didn't know he wasn't an original.
No. We've all known each other since we were 14, 15
Right, he was
years old.
still your buddy.
And and he was in another group called Heaven and Earth.
We probably did cover this on either one of your podcasts or when Rich came on. My bad.
It's possible. It's possible.
I can't remember every band's origin story. Fuck, guys.
But Brian was always one of the most talented people I'd ever seen. He just had this thing about him. His likability was through the roof. His playability was fantastic. He's got that natural like Jerry Cantrell kind of feel where like
he's amazing.
David Gilmour kind of thing where they a bend that he does.
Even guys like Dalton rave about guys like like him.
Well, it's just there's a certain thing that feel. Yeah. It's all about feel. Where some guys will try to shred a million notes in a couple bars or whatever. Where Brian would rather kill you with a really sweet bend and figure out how to dig into your heart.
That's the shit I'm into,
yeah. To me, that's kick ass.
And you were talking about the guy before him.
Yeah, but before him, he actually came up with the name of the group, and which another reason why I wanted to change it. But we took these photos and stuff like that, and and granted, at the time, I think I was probably about 19, 20 years old. Well, this motherfucker's out front the entire time, like doing these fucking stupid. I fucking don't like the guy doing these poses and shit.
Even if you loved him, you still have a right to fucking rip him for shit we did 20 years ago.
I tell you what, it's just, and you know what, it should all be water under the bridge, but there's a little bit of personal shit that got involved with it and stuff too. And this is, much years later that really rubbed me the wrong way and stuff. And whatever. If he's doing what he's doing, I don't even want to bring up his
How do you really feel about
fucking name, dude. At the time, I mean, there was a few times where Rich tried to get me to pull over the car so he could go and beat the shit out of him. Like, it was just, it was.
So
not
everybody felt this way.
Yeah. It wasn't just me. But we took these 8x10s and stuff like that. We spent this money, and all the photos that he wanted to take was all him standing out front, like, my band. Like, you ever see that Nickelback picture where they're all standing around Chad Kroger and they're all pointing at Chad, and Chad's like this in the middle? It's like, could you be any douchier? So just to prove a point, I'm like, we're sitting in a Perkins one night, and we had all the photos and stuff like that, and sure enough, he lays them all out, and I'm like, okay, this is what you want to go with. I'm like, dude, you totally look like you're the fucking front person,
Right.
and which, whatever. I wanted something that was more collaborative, like more of like a group. Like, I think, there's bands like Deftones or whatever that, they make their photos look like a band. It's not just, look at me, I'm
like
fucking
Metallica. They did that a lot. But they still do the shit where James is in front and the other guys are in back. Like,
for sure. But I can think of 1,000 fucking photos that Ross Halfon fucking took where it just looks like 4 fucking dudes, Dave Mustaine, even like in Megadeth and stuff like that, he wasn't always like, they didn't put him as the forefront or whatever. It looked like a band. It looked like a group of people. The Beatles never just put John Lennon out front or Paul McCartney out front. It's just like, that idea was always just more appealing to me. So yeah, so we're sitting in a Perkins, and I go around, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking prove this to you right now that what you're fucking saying is bullshit. So I go up to the table sitting right next to us. I'm like, look at this photo. Which one is the singer? And every single one of them, oh yeah, him. It's just like, come on, dude. I went around to a few different tables just to fucking prove my point and stuff. And granted, yeah, like I said, young and dumb, and I shouldn't have been that hyped up about it or whatever. But I was more into the collaborative idea of that, and that goes with songwriting too. It's just like I had 1 million songs written by the time I was like, fucking 21, but I wanted to make sure that everybody else was included too and stuff. Somebody had a riff or somebody had an idea or whatever the hell. I always wanted to make sure that their voices were heard and stuff, because isn't
another thing that probably you can relate to is when somebody else is like, hey, I have a song. It's like, oh, because every time, no matter how good it is, every time they do it, it doesn't sound like our band. It's like, dude, I get it.
Yes,
but like, you got to write songs that sound like this.
Yeah. There's a song on our Escape Plan record that it's called Everything, and it's a lot of people's favorite fucking song, and I hate it. Not because the song sucks. I think the song's a great song, and I think Mike, my keyboard player, wrote it, and Mike did it.
I just seen in your camera. Talk.
What's it? What?
Look at your little donut. It's
Hey!
just floating down there
exactly.
perfectly. It's just perfect. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just noticed that.
But Mike wrote a great song, and but it doesn't sound like the album. It doesn't sound like us. Nothing, and that was my initial pitch. Like, when we were putting it together, and we're spending all this time and money in the studio and stuff, and he was so hell bent on recording this and stuff, and well, dude, people like it, it's, and I understand it's not about me. There's several songs on that record where it was definitely a group collaboration. It wasn't Wally making the final say or anything like that.
Right.
It was all of us putting our heads together. And but yeah, man, gosh, I just remember trying to put the lyrics together, and he handed me the lyrics, and I'm like, really? Like, this is just not reflecting the image and the aura of what the band was about and stuff. It's like,
I'm a little afraid of that.
You know?
In this group, like, I'm afraid if I find 5 guys that are like, no, I want to be like a real band member, because that's what I want. I want a real band. That's why it's still to this day I've never started the Jared Singer project. Right. I wanted to start a band, and I wanted to play guitar in it. Nobody else wanted to play in a band with me at the time because nobody knew I could play guitar. Right. It didn't even have to do with me being a dick anymore. Like, I'd already kind of started to fix that problem. Thank you, dude.
Yeah.
But nobody even knew.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, "You're playing guitar now?" Like, and I could see it in I could see the gears turning. Like, how fucking arrogant is this guy? Like, okay, we get it. You were a singer, but then you secretly knew how to play drums, which I didn't. Like, I was like, I want to learn how to play drums at like 23 or 24, and just did it. That's where the Tyrants came from.
Yeah.
And then when that band broke up, I remember driving down the road and going, I can't fucking believe I'm just now realizing I've never once played live guitar on stage in any of my real bands in front of a real crowd. Like a couple of high school talent shows I did.
Sure. Yeah.
But we all know those don't count.
They don't.
No kidding. Even though sadly sometimes that's the biggest crowd some of us have ever played to. You know, there's how big was your high school? You know, 6,000 people. That's the biggest crowd you ever played for, bro. That's meaningless.
Really yep.
Meaningless. But that doesn't count. So I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm gonna start a new band and I'm gonna play guitar. And then I realized for 15 years in this industry, no one knew I knew how to play guitar. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to have to like write some cool, catchy tunes, send them some drummers. Nobody heard the vision. They heard these riffs and they're like, you know, you're a pretty good guitar player, but dude, I'm busy. I'm like, okay, fuck it. I know how to play drums. I'll just slap drums down, like show people a little bit more of a full song. And then I started getting some interest, but motherfuckers couldn't write the style. Like everything they were putting in completely changed the direction of the band.
Yeah.
Where I'm going with this is I eventually found the right singer and the right guitar player to join. I want the right rhythm section. And I am a little bit afraid that someday we're going to start putting out music that I got to kind of sacrifice. I don't have autonomy over songwriting by any means. I mean, there's already 2 or 3 things that Dalton's come up with that I'm like, dude, I think I want to put that on the next album. Like, I think I want to write a whole song around these ideas.
Yeah.
And he's like, cool, let's do that. Not my point. My point is like, I'm afraid that someday that's going to start happening with the non-songwriters in the band. Because not everybody's a songwriter. What do they say the bass player's last line is in a band?
What's that?
Hey, I wrote a song.
Yeah.
Get out.
I heard, I've heard that as a drummer joke too. But you see, dude, the one thing, especially just now that I've kind of converted over the more studio life and stuff, there's a certain amount of sacrifice that a songwriter has to kind of make, because we all have this kind of vision in our head as we're writing of what we think we sound like. And that goes for other members of the band too. Like, like I had a group in back when I was first starting and whatnot, and but tracking that is, and they were kind of like more of like an Alice in Chains kind of groove. And obviously I'm a huge fan of everything that Jerry Cantrell does. He's freaking fantastic. And so it was like, cool, it was a lot of fun to work with. Well, at the end of the day, when the mix was done, it's like, well, the drummer approached me. He's like, oh man, I was kind of thinking we sound a little bit more like Avenged Sevenfold. Could you get my drums to sound like that? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, love you, buddy, dude. He's a friend. He's an awesome guy. But I'm like, you're not hearing your band for what it sounds like. All I'm trying to do is more or less, give you an interpretation of what you guys sound collectively. I'm not trying to make you sound like any particular genre or whatnot, or you're just giving me what
That's
it
why,
is,
dude, I'm excited to get in the studio with you on that. Because, like, you have a sound when you produce an album. Like, because I can hear it jump from certain bands, and then you'll do a different band, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound like Wally. Because when they're like, oh yeah, and fucking Wally recorded this, I'm like, Wally did this one? This doesn't sound like a Wally recording. So I notice when you work with certain bands, I can basically, let me rephrase this. Let me start from the top. I can tell when you work with certain bands, they don't know how to give you the vision. So you don't know where to go with. So you kind of have some like go-to plugins, you have some go-to sounds, and you just make them sound good on record, right?
Yep.
And then there's other bands that come to you and they're like, no. I want my drums to sound like this, my guitar tones like this. And then it's your job to make that actually happen, because guys don't understand. And I just started appreciating this in the last 9 months. I can dial in live guitar tone that will it's breathtaking. But then I hook a mic up to it, and no matter what mic, no matter how many mics, no matter how I dial in that fucking amp, when I hit fucking play on my playback, it sounds like poop. That's what it actually sounds like. Shit. Like, it sounds grainy and compressed, and I'm like, what's going on? And it was my buddy Kevin, who's also a producer. He's like, dude, you do realize years that it took you to learn how to dial in any amp like that, and specifically tube amps. I don't know really how to dial in tone on solid state very well. That's a whole other thing. He's like, that's a whole skill set in production.
Yep.
And I was like, that makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Like, I can't believe I never even appreciated that.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother level of skill, is to take my guitar tone, and maybe it doesn't sound good when we're recording it because you need it everything at noon.
Yeah.
But because I've shown you what it sounds like when it's dialed in, and you go, okay, now I know what you want it to sound like. Put everything flat for me. Let's record it, and then you can still get us there. And I think that's interesting because I don't know if a lot of producers can acknowledge that. Like, some guys, they come in and they don't really know what they want to sound like. They're like, oh, I want to sound like Avenged Sevenfold. You're like, no, dude, come on. That's not you. That's not what your vision can be. But then there's other guys that come in and they have like for example, like we'll just stay on my project because it's easy for context, right? Like, the whole description is it's Misery Signals meets Coheed and Cambria, period, right? That does not mean that the drums and guitars have to sound like Misery Signals and Coheed and Cambria. That's the songwriting. Yeah. The tone, the guitar tone, is borderline 80s butt rock metal. Like that pure overdrive tube metal sound. I got a 5150 on purpose, not a 5152. I got the original on purpose, right? Awesome. Like, and when we get the full band with the right gear dialed in the right way, we are going to sound amazing live. Yeah. It's our job to capture that sound on record. That's what I'm excited for, is to get in the studio with a real producer like you, where we can actually sit down and do that for once in my life and get a really good record. The closest I ever came to it was on a Dying Euphoria record, working with Ian Combs. I felt like he was a real producer, whereas everyone else I'd ever worked with were glorified engineers. Right. Does that make sense?
But that's the majority of what is in this town. You know, you don't have a lot of people. Like, Ian's got a vision. I've got a vision. It's just like I hear certain things. Like, I'm not about trying to make the band sound like my project. I really.
By the way, now that you're not at F5, what's the name of the new studio, and how can people get in touch with you if they want to record? Wheelhouse over in Andover. Okay.
It's kind of a really cool.
Where
story.
do people get in touch with you then? I want you to finish your first story. I just want you to plug this.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just hit me up on the Facebook thing and stuff like that. I'm going to be actually going nuts on some more promotional ends of that kind of stuff. Okay, cool. I've just been so fucking busy. Kind of a cool story. I do Wednesday night acoustic shows during the summer at Outpost Bar over in Ramsey. My friend Jimmy's establishment. It's freaking awesome. So he has me out there like at like 6 o'clock to 8:30 on every Wednesday night, and this fella comes up to me because I had played a Foo Fighters song or whatever, and his a very good friend of his had recently passed, and Foo Fighters was his favorite band. He's like, dude, I just want to say that was really cool to hear you do that rendition of that and whatnot, and we just kind of hit it off.
What song did you do?
Times Like These.
And
we just kind of hit it off or whatever. He's not. He's an older guy, he's pushing 60, and super, super nice guy and whatever, and got to talking to him and stuff like that. And he showed me some demos that he had done, and he's been songwriting, since he was, as long as he can remember or whatever, and just never really had that opportunity to put together an album. And so, he had gotten word through the grapevine that that's kind of what I do and stuff like that. And he, more or less, because during the summer, it's like the F5 shut down. We were moving over to Creation Audio, and then, due to the peaceful protesting down on fucking Lake Street.
The mostly peaceful protesting.
Yeah, exactly. But due to that bullshit, I opted out of not going over to Creation Audio just because it's literally 2 blocks away from the war zone. And they weren't going to allow my kids in there. I'd have to mask up all the fucking time. I am not into that shit at all, especially because, my daughter Josie is very active in music and stuff like that. So for me to keep her out, but you're going to bring in random Joe client and, it got to be an uncomfortable situation.
So you moved up to Andover?
So, well, no, I was pretty much just out of a job more or less for the summer. And so I'm doing house calls. I literally had a mobile rig and I went and did a group called Season of the Witch, and that was my first experience with it. And it was really rough because it was just like, I'm trying to figure out a way to get isolation rooms and all that kind of stuff so I can hear things and stuff. And so I got even via, I'm doing the via record right now at this place, which
And that's going to be their third record, right?
Yeah. It sounds so goddamn
Eric's coming on the
right
podcast
Is
next
he?
week,
Cool.
I think.
Cool. We've been having a blast, and they're just, I just love hanging with them. They're just fun people.
Eric's an awesome dude.
He is an awesome dude. But yeah, so we've been having fun doing that. But so dude's like, why don't you come over and track my group and stuff? And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And so the deeper we got into it and stuff, I'm like, his house is a freaking music house. Like literally, it's like guitars all over the walls, cabinets, drums, fucking. It looks like a studio, like the whole thing. And I was loving the shit out of it. I'm like, this is great.
Someday that's what the background will be for this, is I'll have cabs and amps on the bottom and guitars hanging on top.
Yeah.
When we move into a new space and I'm balling out of control again someday.
Dude.
It's going to be awesome.
But it was really weird because, I got there and like everything was almost like kind of set up. I'm like, this is cool. And so we did the record and it turned out so good. And
you're done with it now?
And yeah, it's done. And the band is called Wheelhouse.
I thought you were still talking about Via. Sorry.
No. No, Via. We're 2 songs deep on Via right now. And
you're 2 balls deep.
We're 2 balls deep on Via right now. Yeah. So, he says to me, like, 3/4 of the way through the process, he's like, dude, this is turning out better than I ever could have imagined and stuff. It's this guy's been sitting on these songs for 30 years, so they're dated. But I had to. So
Wheelhouse is the name of the band.
The name of the band, and so we
I
decided,
was asking you what the name of your new studio.
I know.
Is.
So
you're getting to
yes.
this.
So that's exactly what we decided to call the place. Is that he's like, why don't you just move your operations in here? We'll literally build, construct, make this place absolutely like a real full on deal. And I'm like, you drive a hard bargain, man. He's sinking money into it. I'm sinking money into it. And already we've constructed a new vocal booth.
Andover?
Yeah, in Andover, new vocal booths in there. We just, we're making this really fucking kick-ass guitar room. I mean, literally, dude, it is kick-ass, man. It's so much fun. And it sounds so damn good in there. I can't explain it. I have there's no logical reasoning why shit is turning out this good in this place, but it is.
Well, I mean, you guys are pros and you care.
I do care.
And that's
fucking care, man.
That's all. Yep. I mean, here's the thing: is like, be good, and care.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do the second thing, usually the first thing comes.
Yeah,
like just care about whatever you're doing, and eventually you'll probably get good at it, and then continue to care, and then you'll start doing some really cool shit. It just takes a long time.
It's just the house concept was very unattractive to me, just because like I had done that before, and it's just like it never felt like you were actually in an actual studio environment and stuff. But then at
F5,
no, F5 was great. F5 was awesome. That place was fantastic. But so going back into a house situation, it felt a little weird. But then it's like I get to thinking, I'm like, I recorded in 2001 with David Plank, who is Joe Satriani's engineer.
Yep.
Where does he do all his shit? Out of his fucking house.
Yeah, that's where everybody does it now.
And Dave's stuff sounds amazing. We all know how Joe Satriani sounds.
The only guys who have real studios now are guys who have, like, they're doing more than just being in a band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they got shit going on, a peripheral business around it.
Yeah, and that's kick-ass and cool. I just with this particular situation,
or big bands.
It's awesome. And these aren't, some of these groups aren't small potatoes that are coming in and I'm working with and whatnot. I mean, they've got shit going on, and even they're saying like, this is better. And the sound, at the end of the day, who gives a fuck where you recorded your album? It's the end result that matters. Failure. Do you know the band Failure?
Oh, Creed. Well, they recorded that fucking album in a house.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they did.
Scott Stepp did the vocals for that very first record, the one that blew up.
Yeah.
In a literal shower.
I believe it. I totally believe it, man. The band Failure, which is one of my personal favorites. I don't know. Do you know who they are?
Mm-mm.
They're not a lot. They've got a huge.
No, they don't sound very successful.
Dude, I know you wouldn't think so, but Ken Andrews,
Their name's Failure.
their singer and songwriter. He's
I hope the listeners got that joke.
I'm sure they
Their
do.
name's Failure. It's like, no, I haven't heard of them. They don't sound very successful.
I know. But they
It's not actually a good joke.
but Ken's had his hands in so many major national projects. Well, I was watching. He's got a podcast too, kind of thing, where he goes through and about engineering and all this kind of stuff and all certain things he does. They did that first album, or I shouldn't say their first album. Was it? Well, Fantastic Planet, whichever one that was, on a fucking Mackie, like little, like 24 channel fucking mixer. Little stupid little Mackie thing, and a DAT, and that was it. And like, you got it to sound that fucking good off, and I hate
Preamps,
Mac.
bro.
Dude.
Preamps.
No, but there was no preamps involved. It's just straight up like into a fucking Mackie, like shitty live console.
Wow,
that was it.
There's got to be some sort of preamp going on there somewhere.
Nothing, dude. When you listen to his podcast and stuff like that, the way he explains it and how they got certain tones and stuff, it's like. There's no,
No, you're right.
Genius,
that
man.
doesn't surprise me because my buddy Kevin, who I've talked about a lot on the podcast, his dad was a phenomenal musician, and I remember meeting his dad had to be 10 years ago now, at least, maybe even 15 years ago, and he played me. The three of us were, because Kevin's a musician, I'm a musician, so the three of us were sitting around, and he busted out some old cassettes. And because we were talking about bouncing tracks, old school, the kids don't even know what we're talking about. So if you knew what you were doing, you'd have 4 tracks and you'd record into 3 of them. And then you'd take all 3 of these tracks and output the audio to this one. And then you'd record on 2 tracks and then mix it with that other track. And then bounce that all the way down to 1, which would open you back up 3 tracks again.
Yep.
And you could literally do this virtually infinitely. And he showed me, he goes, the most we ever did was 32 tracks. And I was like, wow.
Bounced?
Yeah, they bounced down to they bounced 32 tracks.
Off a 4-track.
Yep. And
Holy
he played
shit.
the tape for me. And it was this, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
it was like one of the coolest old school jazz fusion fucking like 60s 70s style.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. And it was like every one of these dudes were pros, and the recording sounded amazing, and it was recorded direct to tape.
Yeah,
exactly like how you were talking about.
Well, dude, that's exactly how I got into it too. Is a little Tascam 424.
Yeah,
and
I got the Boss one sitting in the other room. I don't think people realize that's all we had back in the day.
Oh,
there
dude.
was like, even in the oldest, nicest studios, they still started off with, well, technically 1 track.
Yeah.
Remember when they recorded directly to reel?
Yep.
And you just mic'd everything up and sent it in.
Oh, that's an art form in itself right there.
And that was actually, they had 1 mic, a room mic.
Yeah.
I'm talking like the early Beatles recording before
absolutely.
the wall of sound.
Yep.
But even with that shit, it was still, when that shit.
It's all about isolation.
They only had fucking 4 tracks for the longest time.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
By the time the 70s and 80s came around,
God.
professional studios had 64 tracks with the whole big mixer, but your average dude would go spend $1,000 on a decent 4-track, and that's what I'm talking about. We're working on now. That's like, dude, you going and buying a
think
Mac
about like
today.
Think about like Sgt. Pepper, like a record like
or a
that,
laptop,
and all the elements of orchestration that were put into that. Just the endless vocal tracks and all the other cool textures and everything that they put on that album. I mean, all you got to do, listen to an ELO record, like all that kind of shit. Like, it's just like
ELO.
How many, dude? I mean,
I haven't thought about those guys in a long time.
He's a bad motherfucker.
Electric Light
man.
Orchestra was an amazing band,
dude. He's still
whether
doing
you like him or not. You have to acknowledge that they're that good.
Yeah, for the longest time, I couldn't get into him. But now that I'm a little older and stuff like that, I'm listening to all the shit that Jeff Lynne did. I'm like, this guy is absolutely next level, and you can just tell the amount of care and passion that he puts into his fucking records, because everything is very meticulous, and you can tell even back then when they were doing their first cuts and everything, it's like you had limited resources, and these takes needed to be great. Same thing with like I was watching some shit on like the Rolling Stones and stuff like that when they're putting things together, and they've got literally like a fucking choir on one end of the room standing behind a bunch of like isolation walls and stuff, and you got Mick Jagger hiding in another one, you got the drums, and they're all tracking this shit at the same time. You had to be great and know your shit. You know, you just couldn't go in there and, you know, like today we're so spoiled and stuff like that where you can do a half-ass take and, you know, some dumb fuck throws Melodyne on it or something like that. Yeah, we'll call it good. It's like, that's, you know, it kills the whole, the reality of it, you know?
You and I are of the age group where we used to listen to our idols talk about how they recorded everything in a room. They live tracked everything, and they would like they'd do 30 takes of a song. And I can't remember who it was. Really famous band. Fuck, I can't remember. It might have been The Band, who was the backing band for all those classic rock singers.
Right.
I think it was actually. I think it was one of the members of that band. He was doing an interview because I think one of those people died. And so there was like something going on, and they were doing an interview, and they were about to play that song, and he's like, yeah, the most interesting thing about this is we did 30 takes of that and listened to it back, and we ended up using the first take. Like we could have just stopped after one, but we didn't. That's not how it worked back then. And then that's where that conversation went. Is like nowadays you can punch in, you can do all this. It's like we had to be on our game. They were better musicians back then. And if you think about it, other than the guitars, most of the instruments and amps and shit, they weren't the same level of quality we have.
Yeah.
You know, you look at those old Jimi Hendrix videos, he's got 4 microphones because they didn't have the ability to get one to be that loud. So they had, you know, you couldn't daisy chain speakers together. So it was like,
dude, it's amazing. We are spoiled today. There's no question about it. I was talking with a friend of mine a couple of years ago. He used to work at Triad out in Seattle. And Triad's where they did Queensryche Empire, Guns N' Roses, Spaghetti Incident, all that kind of stuff. And beautiful studio. But he was in charge of cutting tape. It's like that. Dude, talk about nerve-wracking, man. You fuck that thing up. You know what I'm saying? When you're doing your crossfades, but you're actually like cutting it. Dude, that is I wouldn't know where to start on that at all. I did one record on 2-inch, and it was the worst experience of my entire life, just tracking it. I could imagine having to do all the technical shit with that stuff. And yeah, man, like do I engineer? Kinda. You know, I don't. There's guys in this town that'll kick my fucking ass. On engineering and stuff. But it's
Dalton's actually in the chat. I think you need to grab him by the fine hair behind the ear.
Oh, okay.
And pull him in and fucking make him be your engineer, because he wants to learn. He's got a lot to learn. And I think it could help you just to have a dude in there and like literally train him in first as an engineer. Like, because he needs to like understand all of that shit. And if you had somebody running cables and picking mics and shit, or experience, you know what I mean? Like, it just, and like, he needs to learn that shit. And there's really no better way to do it than basically interning.
Oh, hands-on.
You know what I mean?
Hands-on's the best way for sure. No question about it.
Yeah. In the moment, like, hey, we're going to do this. Just getting used to certain things. Because, like, he borrowed me his computer. And there was just certain things I did as standard procedure in my recording process that he didn't even know existed. He's like, I've never even heard of that shit before. So it's like, yeah, there's a bunch of that stuff that I don't know, obviously, that if he's gonna go that route, you probably have. If I've got 2 or 3 of those tricks that I showed him, you've probably got 200 or 300, just little things, like literally little shit. I showed him within. Oh look, so he said he'll fucking do it, and then I forget this dude's name. Stereo Sympathy. He's watching. He asked, "Did you work for Northwest Graphics back in the day?"
No, I did not.
That's not you.
I do a lot of graphic design and stuff like that, but in other things too.
He might have been asking me, which the answer is the same. No, I did not.
Okay.
Nor am I good enough to ever have worked in anywhere doing graphics.
I tampered with. I still do graphic design and stuff like that every once in a while for album covers or any other kind of promotional shit.
What's going on with this
for our Bingo app? That's all my.
There's no way it actually looks like that, right?
What's that?
Look how close we are on this thing. There's no way. That's got to be a mistake. Come on. See how close we are in that? There's no way that's actually... No, it's fine. It's just what's happening within this web browser. That's super weird. That tripped me out for a second. Sorry, guys. For the listeners, you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, but the video looked just really weird on the. You see what I'm talking about? It's like zoomed in on just our faces.
Yeah.
Which isn't actually that bad. That's how Rogan does it.
Right.
But that's just not what I set up.
Huh.
The one on the left is accurate. Yeah, we don't have any other... Minus Three's music was recorded direct into an 8-track Fostex. Foster or Fostex?
Fostex, yep.
And it was bounced down and then mastered in free Pro Tools. Yeah, we were just starting to get creative back then. You know, we were like... I remember when home recording studios started coming out, and it was like when we realized we could have essentially $100,000 studio for 10 grand. You started seeing guys like you pop up everywhere.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Most of them didn't make it. Most of them aren't still doing it.
I think I've been lucky just because, you know, I do have some history. And for whatever reason, you know, people take what I say seriously.
I don't know why. I don't know why anybody listens to any of us.
You know, I don't know. I just, you know, I don't know. I find enjoyment, and even if like a band's just got like a little, like even just if there's like a section of a song or just a riff or something like that, like my old manager had kind of pointed out something to me. It's just like, you don't always have to look at if the band sucks or this or whatnot. Try to find something good within them that actually might be really kick ass, you know, and just, you know, don't be too,
that's great advice.
Bullheaded, you know what I'm saying? Well, they suck. I don't want to. It's like, well, okay, you know, I mean, how many times have you gone?
They might not suck someday.
Yeah, and how many times have you actually gone to see a group where, fuck, maybe the singer's terrible, but holy shit,
every band I was in,
holy shit, that drummer's fucking badass, or holy shit, like, you know, there I can think of several groups in town where I was just like, you know, not into their music, but goddamn it,
yeah, every band I was in,
sure do love watching this person or whatever, or that riff or. You know, it's just, dude, I think that's super kick ass, you know, because it allows you to kind of digest their music in a different way. And it's the same thing when I'm working with a group. I come from a songwriter standpoint and I'm a singer, you know, so that's my background and stuff, where I'm not a great guitar player. I'm average at best. I'm an okay drummer. I play a little bass, all that kind of stuff. So I've been schooled in all that kind of jive. Shitty piano player, but I fake my way through it. But I find certain things in all these bands where it's just like, even if the group is talented as fuck and they can't, maybe they have trouble writing a song or whatever. There's still certain things that I can find within their music that I can emphasize, that I'm going to give the listener something to go, oh, that's fucking fresh, or that's cool, or just, you know, whatever, that, you know, that part hits so well or something, just you know, find these little things, man. That's all about giving a fuck about, you know, what you do.
Are you ready to make that highlight the 80s butt rock version in my band? Like, are you ready to do that version of that, which will be highlighting the 80s butt rock shit in my band? Just the spankiness of the riffs.
Absolutely, dude. I'm looking forward to it, man. That's
going to be so fun. I'm so excited for it, dude. You've been doing some stuff as much as you can live. How excited are you, though, that we may actually be coming out of this soon to get out there and do real live shows?
Overjoyed, man. I mean, granted, you know, they kept everything to outdoors, so I was playing 5 to 7 shows a week over this last summer.
Yeah,
it was insane.
You were working hard, man.
I was rolling. It was great, man. Most money I've ever made doing music. It was insane.
Had to be rough on your voice,
though. No, I built up such strength and tolerance, but the fucked up thing is that Dan and I, we went and did a show in Mitchell, South Dakota last month, and after the show, I had nothing. like it was just one show, but we hadn't played, and I hadn't done any acoustic bits since the summer and stuff.
When you built up that tolerance, did you lose any range?
No.
So it's not like it's not like a strength versus agility thing like football players and shit. Like, so when you built that strength and endurance to make it through longer sets and all that in multiple days in a row, you never lost any of your range.
Warming up obviously is a big thing when you're doing that much or whatever, because you don't want to trash yourself. But warming down is actually a thing too, where you kind of want to go through after you've done a show, find some space away from people or whatever, and bring your voice, like do almost like your warm-ups, but do them to warm
In
down.
reverse.
And yeah, so because you've just, I've just played for fucking 3 hours singing my ass off, and I know that I have to go do another 3-hour set up north, like in a couple hours. So it's just kind of keeping that consistency, just treating
Literally 21 hours.
Yeah, and there's other certain things, dietary things or whatever that you can, keep from, fucking your shit up and whatever.
Stay away from milk.
Yeah.
No spicy foods.
Mm-hmm.
So pepper, any version of pepper, stay away from that. No milk, no dairy, really.
Yeah.
Soda, terrible. Beer, any alcohol, terrible.
Yeah, that's always the hardest part though, because
that's why I
gave
it
just
up.
Flows
Dude, that's why I quit. I quit because it was too much fucking work.
Right?
It really is.
It is a lot of work.
It's a lot. It's more work to be a singer than it is to be a drummer. Like it's easy to carry around your drums because you only do it once to bring them on stage and then bring them off stage.
I don't know. I think
every day of your life,
you
got to manage this fucking vocal cord thing. Like you could go to a football game.
True.
I have 2 weeks off between tours. You go to a fucking football game. You lose your voice. You fucked your tour.
Yeah.
Because it takes you 6 weeks to recover from blowing your voice properly.
Well,
it's like, it was too much responsibility.
Yeah, that is the human element of it right there, where it's like you can be hungover as fuck and still rip out a really kick-ass guitar solo, or
some people can. I can't.
Well, yeah, okay, but you can lay down an awesome drum groove. Your voice is human,
right?
So the littlest dumbest shit can fuck with it, like I had a popcorn kernel or whatever the fuck, stuck in my throat or whatever, and I just did and I couldn't get it out, and I kept doing that. Next thing you know, I'm kind of talking like this, because it's just like
just a couple coughs.
Shit, it's just like and it wasn't even much what I did, but all of a sudden I'm halfway hoarse. I'm like, this blows, man. Yeah. So
sleep is a big one, like getting good sleep. not for you.
I know. Yeah. No. It's God. But even then too, it's just like,
that's funny. If anybody didn't catch the beginning of this, they might be just saying, like, they might have taken that as in like you're not a fan of sleep.
No. I'm definitely a fan of sleep.
For people that are just tuning in, Wally hasn't been sleeping. He's too excited about all the great things he has going on. I mean, to be honest, that is literally what's going on. You got a bunch of cool shit in the works. You're literally in a flow state.
Yeah.
But you haven't been able to get out of it for a week or two. Because think about it. I mean, that's how us as musicians will stay up all night writing a song, is we're in that flow state. You lose perception of time.
No, there is no such thing as time.
And adrenaline just completely fuels you. And I heard this dude talking about this. I'm not making this up. This isn't this other guy's thing. This is written in a book where they really break down the flow state. And if you imagine difficulty on one thing, on one axis, versus your skill on the other axis, if you don't have enough skill and or the difficulty isn't high or low enough, right? Yeah. You got to find the right balance where it's a challenge, but you have the ability to pull it off. And when you can get in that state and stay at that state, that's how you get into that flow state. That's what it sounds like you're in. And you're just not able to go to sleep at night. You can't shut it off.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens to us. We'll fucking sit there. I can't tell you how many times when I'm writing songs is what it is. It's a mixture of Mountain Dew, so caffeine really is. Caffeine and sugar is really what it is.
Yep.
Smoking a ton of weed.
Right.
And back in the day and now recently, in the last few years since I started smoking again, it's ripping cigs. And when I get that chemical cocktail of those three things.
Yeah.
While I'm writing music, bro, I'm telling you, I'll stay up till the fucking sun rises.
All right.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. And that's what it sounds like it's for you, man. You're just doing it, on a weekly, bi-weekly level at this point. How long it's been? A week or two since you've gotten any sleep?
No, dude, it's been, I'm going on months right now. Like I will just,
you gotta work out, dude.
Like what I'll do is I'll, what seems to be the formula lately is I'll fall asleep for about a half hour, 40 minutes. Right. Then I'll wake up and I'll lay there for another like 2 hours, 3 hours, fall back asleep for maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours, get right back up. And it's just like that. There's no consistency. There's no nothing. So it's Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's got to
the
be
freaking
working
worst.
out, dude.
Yeah.
You're missing, like you said, when you're playing shows, you got that physical adrenaline out.
For sure, man.
And so your body was exhausted at the end of the night. Because because I'm wondering if this is the case. If it's not that you can't shut your mind off, it's that your body still has energy to burn.
Yeah.
And that's like fueling your brain to keep going. Whereas if you were able to somehow physically exhaust yourself as well each day as mentally, you'd probably fall asleep and get some great sleep, dude.
Yeah, turning into a fat, lazy cat. I fucking don't like it.
All of us are, bro.
Yeah.
All of us are, man.
Hey, I drank too much coffee. I have to go
take a
pee.
leak.
What do you think?
Yeah.
All right.
Throw some comments in here, some questions in here. I'll jump in and I'll talk to some motherfuckers while you're draining the old. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Draining the lizard. That's such a stupid reference. You don't drain lizards. It and your dick doesn't even look like a lizard. It looks like a snake. So stupid. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it so much. Really, there's still 8 of you watching, and it's weird. There's that many of you actually continuing to watch at this time of day. I thought we'd maybe have 2 or 3 people in here hanging out with us right now, but I appreciate it. I really do. Makes me feel like I'm doing my job. So what are you guys up to? Who's all in here? Let me see if I can find out if it'll even tell me. I just recently discovered we can go with participants. And nope, it just lists me. So Dalton was in here. Fuck. Stereo of Sympathy. Dude, I forgot your name. I want to say it's like Matt. Is it Matt? I think that's your name. I don't know. We were drinking on the Reaping podcast, but I know that's where he came into the podcast community from. He was watching that podcast. I think his name is Matt, and he's the bass player with Dead Hands Rising, I believe. I don't know. So what up, Dalton? Throw something in chat, brah. We're just sitting here drinking coffee and eating donuts, basically being cops. Only good cops because we're not killing anyone. Man, I got to quit smoking, but I'll tell you what, between smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee, it has got to be one of the most difficult things to quit because I love ripping cigs while I'm drinking coffee or beer. Fuck. I got to figure out how to quit. Throw some questions in chat, you guys. Throw some questions in chat for me, for Wally, so when he gets back, we can do a little interacting with you guys. You see if there's any in here that I missed. It says live chat. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be something in here I'm missing, right? I feel like we've gotten more comments than this. I should have had this ready. I should have been like, hey, let's just play something while you're out. But I didn't really plan for it. Put some questions. Also, make sure you guys like and subscribe and all that cheesy shit. It really helps the podcast a lot. I know it seems patronizing and stupid, but hit that sub button, hit like on the video, leave a comment in this live chat or down in the other comments if you're watching this on fucking playback or whatever. I can hear him. He's coming back. He'll be back any second. I can hear him coming through the house. We're fine. We only lost 1 viewer.
Yeah.
Only 1.
Good. That was very
Welcome back.
very good Austin Powers pee for me.
I was going to say, that took a long time.
Like, oh my God. Just didn't want to stop. Literally, this is like my 10th cup of coffee.
I know, me
today.
too. Luckily, I pissed right before you got here, so
Yeah.
I think I'm still okay.
Yeah. Good gravy.
But yeah,
So, yeah, where were we?
I don't know. We got a bunch of people in chat. It's super weird. Like, they're throwing comments in there, and then immediately I'm like, okay, guys, we're taking a break. Throw some comments in there. Throw some questions in there. And nobody put anything in chat. It's hilarious. Like, thanks, guys.
Perfect.
Like, that's literally the moment to do this, because next time I got to go piss, still, put your fucking questions in here, because if I have to take a piss,
Right.
Wally has somebody to talk to, and he can just jump in with you guys. Hilarious. There's usually, like, especially with this many people actually watching, there's usually a lot more people in chat, and they're usually getting frustrated that we're not paying enough attention to them. Well, that cat's out of that bag.
We can keep talking to Dalton then.
Yeah, right. I know there's people watching. That's hilarious. I think most of the people watching are like, dude, we know you two assholes. We don't want to ask you any questions.
Right.
So what else are you up to right now? Who are you currently working on? Via? Are you working on any other projects?
Yeah, Stormbreaker. You know who Stormbreaker is?
No, but I hope they're a big fan of Thor.
Dude, I was kind of ripping them about the name a little bit the other day and stuff, but it totally works for them. It absolutely works for them.
What is it? Is it like metal?
It's kind of like almost like an 80s Avenged Sevenfold kind of story.
Okay.
Two guitar players that are just incredible.
Who's in the band?
Absolutely nobody you know.
Really?
Not one person. Yeah, they're
kids?
Except for the they're pretty much freshly 21, 22.
Nice.
Singer guy's a little bit older. But yeah, very talented group. A lot of fun to work with and stuff, and they're just I mean, just when you have that kind of talent and just putting together like a record is so much fun. It's so much fun because you just don't know what. I mean, these guys are like, it's like a Jason Becker, Marty Friedman cacophony kind of thing where like they both can just, the dexterity, just the fluidity of their solos and everything and stuff. It's like, like,
when's it going to be done?
We are 3/4 of the way through the process right now. So we're just tracking vocals and doing mixes.
So what does that mean as far as like time? Or I mean, not time, but like an estimated date. Like, are we a couple months out, or is it 6 months out?
Well, I mean, really, whenever they want to release it. But I think we're probably a good 3 weeks away from being done with it.
With the record.
Yeah. So I got that. I got that one going on. I've got a group called Anxiety Society, which is Jeremy Montoya and Adam from Wither the Tide.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that's a great batch of songs right there. That's really cool, man. They're kind of hitting on that a little more of a rock version of Gunship or Carpenter Brute, that kind of sound, and it's really cool. So a lot of keyboards, a lot of that 80s kind of synth kind of thing, and it's, man, the one thing I love so much about Jeremy Montoya, and I can say the same for Aaron Dahl too from Emergent, is that they have the ability to fire off lyrics or a melody just right off the top of their head, and it's great instantly. And it just pisses me off, because I'm one of those people. I like to take my time. I like to make sure, maybe I'll hear a melody and stuff like that, but I really want to craft my words right. I really want to, just because I just like to get way deep into the emotion and the science of it, where these motherfuckers can just, I had Jeremy in the other day, and we're tracking vocals for that stuff, and he's like, I didn't really like the line that was on the demo and stuff. I think I'm just going to change it. Okay, all right. Well, you want to come back, next Thursday and get that done? No, I'll just do it now, and just literally it all of maybe 5 minutes. He had crafted the perfect line, perfect melody. I'm just like, you son of a bitch. Like, it's just, it's awesome. I love it. I love seeing that. I love spontaneity in the studio too, where it's just like happy accidents happen or little things that just kind of like, you can just shoot from the hip and son of a gun. It's great.
I think it's super interesting too, because he's asked me for feedback on some of the stuff he sent me, and I'm like, it can wait. There's no need to start throwing critiques in, because I already know when you just naturally take a second run at it.
Yep.
Like, I don't want to critique these first ideas. It'd be unfair to you.
Yep.
Not like, because, oh my God, that's rude to do to musicians. No, it's like, I know your process.
Yeah.
As speaking like literally about Jeremy. So when he asked me like, so what'd you think? I'm like, yeah, it's cool. Like, I'm not going to give you all the positive and negatives, except for if I think it's like basically done.
Yeah.
Like that very first song he did, the very first version, I was like, it's essentially perfect. We might tweak a couple things here, but again, that's shit where we can wait, because I want to hear it back to back both ways, and then we'll just make that decision later. It's not a critique in writing.
Yeah.
It's like a pre-production execution idea thing. You know,
Yep.
it's
No,
like there's a time and a place for that.
Exactly.
What you're doing right now is way better than what I would do. So,
but the demos that they had initially sent me were really well written and very well structured, and the melodies were good. The vocal, like he does a lot of things where he's got like a little home setup, and so he's half in the bag when he's working on the shit.
That's
at like
what he told me.
2 in the morning. Yeah,
it's brilliant. He said he gets wasted, like just gets fucking tanked, and just goes in there and starts yelling at the microphone. And he goes, "I'm mentally at my most creative, but physically at my worst."
I know,
because I'm
dude,
drunk
so
and I'm
funny.
off pitch, and it's like, cool.
And
it works.
And they didn't just send me demos; they sent me stem files with it too. So I was just trying to like. He's got this total, freaking Orson Welles kind of slur, just, dude, it's so funny, but yet your melodies are, and I can make out what you're saying, and it's so good that, like, you son of a bitch, like, it's just like me, if I'm hammered, no, I can't write a thing.
I'm excited. I can, but it's not going to sound good. It's like Jeremy. It's like Jeremy. Like the idea will be there though.
Yeah.
Like I'll stumble across some real creative shit.
Yep.
But not if I'm wasted. If I'm wasted, I can't do anything. Like maybe I could do some vocal stuff. I can see why he does that. But from a guitar player's perspective or a drumming perspective, if I get too drunk, nope, I ain't doing shit.
Dude, I write my best stuff when I'm depressed.
Me too. Yep. Or heartbroken. Or pissed off. It's one of those three.
Yeah. Like when I have to be in like a certain mood, like, I mean, sometimes I can sit down and like come up with like a little riff or something like that, but usually it's something that I've got to be in this weird emotional state. And I can't really describe it or whatever. It's not, I don't know. But and I'm sure that's what applies to the darkness of my writing and stuff, because a lot of stuff I do, it has big ambient.
Yeah, I've never understood people who like have a baby and they're so inspired they write a song. Like, that's the last thing I would want to do. I don't know. I haven't had a baby yet though, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I will. Maybe that'll be the greatest song I ever wrote.
Yeah, I wrote a song for my kids. It's on my solo record, but it was just because I'm
not criticizing you or anybody else who's done that. I'm saying I don't understand how, because I can only write if I'm angry, depressed, or heartbroken.
But that was it. Was the song that I wrote for them called "My Beautiful." It's very depressing, because it's like I couldn't see my fucking kids over the quarantine thing when they initially did the shutdown thing last March, and so I literally went almost a month. And it fucking drove me nuts. That was the hardest part of that whole thing. So I better get creative. I better start writing. I better do something to, just not lose my fucking mind, And I'm happy they weren't seeing me lose my mind,
right?
Because I'm dad. I gotta keep my composure, and everything's got to be chill, and and just, it's fucking hard, man. It's hard being a parent in these times. It's fucking weird.
Yeah. It's got to be, right?
Yep.
It's hard being a normal person in these times. I can't imagine what it would like to be a parent during these times, like with kids, like actual kids. It's different if you got adult kids, I suppose, but man.
Yeah, but Josie, she's she's been on here with us and stuff like that. She's 16, so she's got more of a firm grasp on things, where my 9-year-old, she's got some issues right now because she hasn't seen her friends since last March. She's not able to go out and and have playtime, recess, all that kind of crap, because we're, her mom and I don't believe in we don't believe in any of this shit that's going on right now, but the separation of children at school and stuff like that, and the distancing and all that stuff, where kids need that. They need to have, they need to have the recess. They need to have the roughhousing. They need to, there's certain means of energy and even just, psychological effects that all that stuff is good for you, and so, and I don't know, man, it's crazy. I'm looking at overseas and how they're, keeping a lot of these people in their homes where they can't fucking even just leave to go outside or do anything and stuff like that. I mean, it's insane. I don't know how being a parent over there would fucking work out, man. I'd lose my shit.
Well, and it's so weird too here, because like we briefly talked about, I said, how excited are you with the possibility that we might be coming out of this and actually going back? But then there's a whole nother wave of information out there, and I don't know what to believe anymore because
I know,
there's two different narratives going.
Yeah.
One narrative is the vaccine is on its way. It's here. We're going to be opened up in a few months. The other narrative is this strain is there's already now 3 or 4 different versions of this thing. Cases are still rising. We don't know if once you catch it, if you're immune to every strain. We don't know if the vaccine's going to make you immune for a year like a flu shot, or if it's like a 10-year thing like a tetanus shot. Like, we don't fucking know anything. So, and there's another one, a B fucking something, where
best part about
Dr.
it is
Mike Osterholm.
they don't know either.
But here's the thing is, like, some of them are legit, and it's the problem is the media outlets that are reporting on it and how they spin it. Because like Dr. Mike Osterholm, he works for the U of M and runs the Minnesota CDC. He has zero monetary incentive. He doesn't make money whether we're open or shut. All he cares about is the virality of the disease. And he was one of the only people that I trusted when he was when the coronavirus information was brand new about a year ago.
Yeah.
And he's the one that's talking about this new strain, and he's like, this could be so much worse than the first one. So it's like, we're either
worse in what way though?
Like, it's gonna spread faster,
fatality, or
and it could be more deadly. Like, it could be more contagious and be more deadly. So it's like, we're either gonna get completely shut down again, or hopefully this vaccine's legit and we're good to go and we can open back up. But we're getting two completely different narratives, and it's hard to even figure out which one's which. And then if you compile that with being a parent or being a young kid, or being in isolation, it's like, man, I think the podcast really saved my ass for that. And some guests have even expressed it like, dude, I've been locked up, man. I need to do this fucking podcast. It's the first time I've been out of the house in 3 months. It's like, fuck, I didn't even think about that.
It's just that I don't know, man. I've got my opinions and I've got, whatever, and I'll just I won't get too far into it just because I genuinely think it's been more propaganda and more bullshit narratives than it has been about.
I don't know what to think anymore. Now motherfuckers are recommending 2 and 3 masks.
That's insane.
It's real.
It's I know it's real, but it's absolutely fucking insane. And I don't know. It's
I don't know what to think about anything anymore.
Right. I don't know. From the people that I know that are in the medical field, and some of these people are doctors, some of these people are nurses, some of these people are just whatever technicians at a hospital and stuff. But they, a lot of them are like, we're empty. There's nothing going on here. There's nothing. This thing is such a load of shit. But like you said, like, I don't want to get too far into that shit, because we're almost treading on conspiracy theory there. I'm talking about what we know and what we can relate to, which is our everyday perspective and the information being given to us about it. But that's what I'm saying. Is, like,
I don't think
hospitals are overworked, and there's this and that, and everybody that I know that works in a hospital is like, we don't have shit. Yeah, there's like maybe like 10 COVID patients upstairs. Otherwise, this place is a fucking ghost town.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't comment on that. All I'm saying is, like, I don't think the average human can take another lockdown for another year. No, that's what I'm getting at.
No, not at all.
Like, I hope and I pray, whatever verbiage you want to use there, that we open up soon, because motherfuckers are losing their minds. Like, the podcast saved my ass.
I quote Dave Portnoy, I'll take my chances.
I mean,
take my chances.
I don't know, man. It's tough, dude. Like, I'm just, honestly, man, there's 2 things that really saved me from losing my mind. 2 things. The podcast, and finally some new content started coming out. Like, fucking The Mandalorian and WandaVision. Right. Seriously. And then I found Altered Carbon. Jesus Christ, have you seen that show?
I haven't. I've heard a lot about it, though.
Insane.
I hear it's pretty fucking good.
It's awesome.
I think my folks are watching that, if I'm not mistaken.
Good.
Yeah.
It took me so long to get into it, because I was just like, I'll watch something else. And then finally, I'm literally scraping the bottom of the barrel on every platform out there just to find something to watch. I'm like, I'm going to do this Altered Carbon thing. There's 2 seasons. Yeah. Everyone raves about it. Fuck it.
I'm glad I did, bro. I just want the new Stranger Things to come out. That's all I give a shit about. I'm such a huge...
Have you watched WandaVision?
What is that?
Are you into any of the Marvel shit?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not since they've gone so fucking woke and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm done with it. I watch movies and TV to get away from shit, and that's why I can't. Speaking
of woketivism, how do you feel about the new corporate woketivism? Shout out to Dalton here. He sent me a link of Popeye's Chicken offering free tendies for y'all. That's what the picture said. Free tendies for y'all. Hashtag AMC, hashtag GME, hashtag to the moon. Like, straight up corporate woketivism. Like, do you know about the GameStop thing?
Yeah, I heard about it. It's pretty interesting. A lot of people really like it. You know,
I mean, here's the thing: is like, if you're gonna start shopping at GameStop, cool. But if you're all gonna just go back to downloading shit after this is over, then you're fools. You're all just giving your money away.
Yeah,
literally. If you're buying GameStop stock right now, I'm talking to all the to the mooners.
Yeah.
This is a great idea if you're going to actually buy shit and make GameStop a profitable company again. Your stocks will fall and they will win if you don't actually make GameStop profitable. Meaning, go buy your shit there. It's the only way it works. If you're just trying to beat them at this game and hold these stocks forever, if no one actually buys anything from GameStop, GameStop won't be profitable. So no matter how much stock you buy, eventually that stock will plummet.
Exactly.
Period.
For sure.
You can buy all the stock in the world. If they go bankrupt, it doesn't fucking matter.
GameStop.
And then those Wall Street guys win.
I like GameStop. My
that's
daughter's got a DS,
that's all I'm going to say about
so
it.
I always go there for games for.
That's all I'm going to say about. I'm not saying this is a good idea or a bad idea. I'm not saying I'm for it or against it. I'm not doing that.
Sure is entertaining.
All I'm saying is you can win this war, but you have to actually support GameStop with your dollars in the store or online or whatever. Like, make them a profitable company and you win. That's all I'm going to say about it. Like, because it will work.
Yep.
If you actually know how to do it.
Yeah, it is entertaining though. I like seeing.
I love the to the moon. I think that's hilarious.
Just goofy.
I think it's hilarious.
But it is funny to see Wall Street get turned on its side every once in a while. I know I was reading that Mark Cuban's laughing his ass off watching this whole thing. He thinks it's the greatest thing ever. And even like Elon Musk and all that stuff. I mean, these are two very large players in the world of business and stuff, and they're loving the shit out of it. They think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the fact that people are now getting together, because basically is what they don't know they did is they essentially created their own hedge fund. The Reddit, the Wall Street Bets group.
That makes sense.
That's essentially a hedge fund. It's a bunch of people putting their money together in one focused area to make an impact. That's what hedge funds do.
That's did work.
Right. I think it's great in essence, in its idea. Is what I don't like is how Robin Hood and Wall Street and dude, Jimmy Kimmel said some shit. He said, he goes, a bunch of guys online from Reddit and possibly some Russian trolls. And I was like, go fuck yourself. I'm so sick of everything.
He's the worst.
I'm so sick of everything being blamed on Russian trolls.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Russians. Oh, it's the Russians. It's like, not everything is the Russians. Like,
it's a lazy excuse for.
There's no way Americans could organize this and do this. There's no way. This has to be the Russians.
Yeah, it seems
shit.
That seems to be the default answer. And I sure like Jimmy Kimmel when he was on the Man Show.
He was great when he was with Joe Rogan.
Absolutely,
Joe Rogan would have punched him in the dick for some of the dumb shit he's saying.
Right, and even Adam Carolla too. But and him and Carolla are still friends, which blows my mind.
There was another dude on that too. There was another guy. There was
I can't think.
Stanhope. There's Doug Stanhope.
Yeah, Doug Stanhope is really funny in his stand-up, man. He's
Stanhope is a national treasure.
Yeah. There's some things that I'm just like, oh, dude, you really went there, like.
Well, and it's great if you follow him on Twitter, because you can see, if you know his comedy and you see some of his ridiculous tweets, you immediately go, oh, he's working on a bit right now.
Yeah,
because this is the not funny version of what he's going to say 6 months from now on stage, if he ever gets back on stage.
Right,
you know, I'm like, oh, I see what's going on. So it made Twitter fun again. It really did. Is like following comics.
I'm surprised they haven't banned him from their even. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people are getting that shit, but there's like, I've had to go to other places to find some comedy and stuff like that. There's a really cool site called the Comics Gym.
Have you checked out Wheeler's channel?
John Wheeler?
Yeah.
No, what does he have going on?
Let me see if I can pull it up real quick here. I might as well give a shout out to all the guys. Everybody that's watching this, checking in, make sure you go. I'm going to bring up Wheeler's page. You'll be able to see it on screen. I'm not going to play anything off of it, but it's the Alchemical Cocktail Lounge.
Isn't he doing?
Yeah. And also subscribe to Greg Chilton's podcast called the Ritual Madness Podcast, and our buddy Andy Oltman's podcast / YouTube channel called Thrash Metal Studio. They're all featured channels at the bottom of my page. Literally, you can just go to my page, scroll all the way to the bottom. All of them are featured channels. Go there and subscribe right now. We're all striving to get to 1,000 subscribers.
Have you been on Chilton's?
Not yet. Not yet. He invited me on, but I don't think he really needs me anytime soon. He's got a lot of people that want to be on there, so it'll probably be a while.
Greg, if you're watching this, I want to go on too.
Yeah, you should go on there sooner than I do. Let me see here. What am I doing? Oh, I'm trying to go to my page. That's right. Fucking stupid. I'm such an idiot. Sometimes it's hilarious. Okay,
John
so
Wheeler is
this
a
guy
very,
down
very
here.
talented guy.
This is what I'm talking about. Share TV. Boom. Hopefully they see this. I got to bring it up here. There we go. So down at the bottom here, these guys right here, the Alchemical Cocktail Lounge, Thrash Metal Studio, and then Ritual Madness Podcast. These three were kind of like the four dorkmen of the apocalypse.
I like that.
But if you're looking for some cool new content, some cool comedy shit like that, check his thing out. He's basically running like a small studio here, right? It's almost like a network. So he's got different actual like shows. So he's got this Underdressed and Overserved, which is sort of like a stand-up bit, but condensed down into, so it's like 5 to 10 minutes worth of stand-up that he's got down into like 3 and 5 minute clips. It's great.
Okay.
And then he's got the Rum Dumpster podcast, which is him and some other people. They do a podcast where they get just fucked up and just talk random shit. And then he's doing a couple other things on there too. He's got some like these little snippets where he's doing some informative conspiracy Bigfoot stuff. And then he's got this vlog of Eternal Stench, which is like kind of started some. It's just really cool. You should go check out his channel, subscribe, all that good shit. He's doing some really cool stuff over there.
Dude, seeing the way
that's a really long plug. And also how
John's kind of changed his look over the years and stuff.
Yeah.
He looks more and more like Gavin McInnes every day.
Dude, you know what's hilarious, brother? You know what's fucking hilarious is the other day he posted a video from like, I don't even know, 2015 or something.
Yeah.
And it cracked me up because dude, straight up, oh, I think I'm in the wrong one here. He posted it and it's like, have you ever seen Letterkenny?
I don't know
the
what
Canadian
that is.
Show. A bunch of goth kids. They do like that stereotypical raver thing where they're all like rave dancing under a bridge.
Yeah,
you know what you've seen those videos online.
I have
right?
not. I have
okay,
not. Dude, I'm
not gonna waste time pulling them up.
No, that's cool.
I'm
so far away from that kind of stuff, dude. I don't.
I forgot to bring the cam back. My bad, guys. Sorry, you've been staring at that blank screen the whole time. Amateur hour. But it was hilarious because it was them doing a weird industrial cover of Loser by Beck.
Okay.
I'm a loser, baby.
Yeah, love the song.
And it was in black and white, and it was them it was them like drinking beers, dancing, and smoking cigarettes and shit. And I was like, this is straight out of Letterkenny. He had long dreads, like he looked like a goth kid. And now he comes in here, he's got short, clean cut hair, a hipster mustache, wearing a suit and shit. It's like a completely different look. Hilarious. No, I don't think anybody's ever evolved as much as John Wheeler.
Dude, and that, I think that's kick ass, man. He kind of reinvents himself every once in a while and stuff. And I don't know. He's such a talented dude. He actually played.
Pull that bad boy a touch closer to you.
He actually played keyboards for Skywind for a smidge.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, and it was fucking really fantastic at it. Just my group was falling apart at the time, so it was just like I just gave up on it at that moment. And this is shit.
He's one of those guys who's been in like almost everyone's band. It seems like.
Or he has some kind of affiliation. He's just a talented guy and just gets it, you know. And so he's got a lot of great ideas. And
I figured out why this looks so weird.
What's that?
I forgot to ask you. Can you scoot this way?
Oh, really?
Yeah. There we go. Now it doesn't look so weird. Yeah. This will even look better now too. Yeah, because now you'll actually be in frame.
It's all about the angles.
There you go. Much better. Much better. God, I'm off my game. Let's just put it out there.
That's
I'm
okay.
off my game. Sorry, you guys.
Okay.
This is probably not my best podcast. Hope you guys are having fun though. We appreciate you being here. Weird. The analytics just shut down. I can't even tell how many people are in here anymore. Shows 0 on everything.
Maybe everybody fucking left.
No, it's still going.
I'm teasing.
Yeah, if I look at my phone, it says there's like 5 or 6 people still watching. So
That's
I mean,
cool.
that's pretty good, especially on a Tuesday in the middle of the day.
Tuesday in the middle of the day.
This ain't the New Year's special. You know, we're not getting tanked out.
Right.
Man, when Reaping
How'd
came out,
that go?
that was a blast. That was a fucking riot.
Yeah.
It was a lot like the Halloween one. It was just a shit show. Because there are always experiments. There's a lot of interaction with the viewers.
Yeah.
We took callers on that one. Didn't go well because I don't know how to fucking engineer audio.
Yeah, that's a whole nother
to save
ball
my
of wax
life.
right there, buddy. Yep.
I think I got some new plans and ideas for the next special on how we're gonna pull that off.
That's cool.
I think it's gonna be like Skype or Zoom or FaceTime calls only. So then when we do that, that person will be here with us instead of just a phone call. And then I'm going to hook up a different style mic.
Dude, I hate Zoom calls.
I fucking hate them too, but you know, you got to do what you got to do.
I know. There's something just to be said though with having shit like right in front of you and stuff
Even
like
on the
that. Like,
podcasts,
just,
yeah.
Yeah, it's just yeah, it's just very for whatever reason, like I get sick if I watch too much technology or something like that. Like me even like
Physically?
Yeah.
That's a thing. That's called digital concussion syndrome. And you need it's the blue light being emitted from the digital screens. So your cell phone, TV, and computer monitors.
But you know, because I eliminate the blue thing on my phone and stuff too. But if I sit there and look at it for long enough, dude, my computer, my
That's
TV, I'm coming to find that like I'm definitely experiencing it because it's just not like I just don't. Ugh, dude, I want to barf. I want to like I get disoriented, everything and stuff like that. So just putting technology away for a while is just a wonderful thing sometimes, just to get the fuck away from it, you know.
Yep.
As it does. I think it really screws with me, and I don't know what it does for other people and stuff.
You're not alone, brother.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're not alone.
It's wild.
See if I can get these stats back up. I'm curious. I'm very curious. Yep, there we go. Now we got it back. That was super weird. I don't know. I never really understand the weird little glitches with the podcast. Like every podcast, it's almost like a live show, like doing a concert. There's never two alike.
Right.
And I'm even just talking on the production side.
Mm-hmm.
Every podcast, there's a different weird little bug every time.
But I do like your background and everything.
Thanks, dude.
This is kick-ass.
With the logo up there?
Yeah. It's
I like
way
it
cool.
too, man.
Yep.
I wish the lights didn't ping off the fucking TV screen. But again, I don't know what I'm doing, so that's why we need that's why we need funding so I can hire a real producer.
I think it looks cool, and then your sponsors and shit coming in and everything and stuff. I love it. I think it's great.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
we're building a community here. It's cool. We got the other 3 guys doing podcasts and we're doing something really cool here.
Mm-hmm.
And tomorrow's a big day for me. For the podcast, we got Ezra Tuaolo coming on.
Oh, that's cool.
I keep saying his name wrong. Ezra Tuaolo. Used to play for the Minnesota Vikings, the Carolina Panthers. Well. He's got a book coming out. Or actually, he wrote a book a long time ago. Dude, I don't know why I said coming out.
Ass off too, man.
He's a great singer. I've known him for a long time. Just talked to him again today about it. He's coming on tomorrow. After I'm so fucking pumped for that one.
Cool.
That's a big deal for us because once he comes on,
does he play out? Does he jam with anybody or anything like that? Or
I'm gonna get into that with him tomorrow. We got a lot to talk about tomorrow, and I want to make sure that we talk a lot about his music.
Mm-hmm.
Just simply because he's a musician and I'm a musician.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to talk about a lot, dude. He's got a lot going on, and I don't want to spend our podcast plugging him and promoting his shit, but I'm very excited for that because just him confirming and me being able to put him on the books immediately allowed me to get other people at his level, like former athletes and stuff, that are now considering coming on the podcast,
That's cool.
where it was not an option 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But as soon as that door got open, so it's a big day for us tomorrow. I'm really excited for it. This is a big week because this is the first week I can remember in a while where I don't have any metal musicians coming on. Like, no disrespect to you. You're not a metalhead.
I'm not metal.
Right?
Yeah.
No disrespect to me.
No,
I am a metal musician, but
yeah.
I think it's really cool how we're diversifying the podcast. You know,
Right.
I've got you coming on today, and then I've got him tomorrow, and then I got a comedian coming Thursday.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, and that's the route I want to go more, because I think Andy and Greg have more to offer than I do, specializing in the music podcast area.
Yeah.
Especially Greg on his interviewing skills.
Yeah.
He's a much better interviewer than I am. And then Andy's a fucking genius, and he's a gearhead. So like they can really take the music thing and run with it. Whereas I want to talk to more people than just musicians. Because I want to talk to a lot of people, and there's a lot of shit. So I hope eventually the music listeners aren't alienated from my podcast, because we'll keep having musicians on.
Dude, I remember.
I just want to get away from straight white men doing heavy metal music. I want to get away from that specific niche.
Right.
No, I'm not trying to be woke. But it's like I can only have so many conversations with a bunch of straight white dudes who are into the exact same style of music as me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't know. That sounds
some
so
gay
weird.
black country stars on here.
Yeah, like more women. You know? Yeah, some
Or
more
chicks.
women.
Yeah, you're missing in the chick department right
I've only
now.
had a couple on.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough. I don't know a lot of chicks. I shouldn't know a lot of chicks. You know, I'm married. You know, it'd be weird if I had a bunch of close chick friends that I could just call. Like you guys, you know? When I called all you guys and I'm like, hey, I'm doing this podcast thing, there was a dozen, maybe 20 of you that were like, yeah, I'm in. Name it.
Yeah.
Just let's figure out the date.
Yeah.
Whereas like there was maybe 2 chicks I knew that I could do that.
Yeah.
And one was trans and one's a lesbian. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's the only reason, because my wife nor any girlfriend I've ever had would never have any weird fear of an affair there, because neither one of them are into me, nor am I into them. So it's just a normal, healthy friendship. But I only got, you know, no straight dude should have a bunch of chick friends. It's weird. It's fucking weird. Like, you just shouldn't, because honestly, you're probably banging them.
Yeah.
And then that's not just a friend.
Fair enough.
That's not a normal friendship.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
It's almost like when you hear that girl who's like, oh, I don't really get along with females. I have a lot of guy friends. And I just immediately imagine her with a bunch of dicks on her face.
See, here's the difference between guys and chicks, though, is that women are catty. Okay? Women are always trying to one up the other girl. For the most part. Not all women, but most women. Like, it's this constant fucking competition that they have, and it doesn't matter what it is. And that's why I think a lot of girls just do have more guy friends and stuff. Like, guys don't give a fuck.
No, but dudes are always trying to hit that.
I don't know, man.
I don't trust it.
I got a lot of friends that are girls and stuff too that I have no interest in it. But whatever, they're either musicians.
I bet you could count them all on one hand.
They're enlightening to talk to and stuff like that. Like, I don't,
not acquaintances,
I
not people that are cool. I'm saying friends, like actual friends that you call, hang out with, and talk to on a regular basis.
I don't hang out with anybody though. That's just it. It's like I work.
But I'm saying if you tallied up all the women that you would put in that category in your life that aren't related to you, right? That you haven't slept with,
right?
I guarantee you it's less than a handful.
Probably.
There's no way you have 7 or 8 or 9 super close, straight chick friends that you ain't fucking or want to fuck.
But here's the deal, though, is that I think that changes with age too. You know?
True, that is true. You know, I'll give you that.
I'm 43 right now. I don't have any interest in, like, I don't go out and do the bar scene anymore.
I don't have energy to get laid.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's like I'm so absorbed with my work and raising my kids properly and stuff like that I really don't. It doesn't interest me to try to.
That's interesting.
Collect.
Yeah, I never thought about that. That's a really good point.
You know what I'm saying? To try to collect more friends and stuff like that. Like, it's one of those things. But I mean, I've got. I don't know, when I was younger and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I was a bartender for a good portion of my life there, and so I'd go and hang out with people who would be my regulars, or people that I worked with and stuff like that. Like, it was fun. And it wasn't, about trying to get laid or anything like that. We'd drink together. We'd have a good fucking time. And I think as you get older, your perspectives change and your priorities change and everything and stuff. And, I don't know. Yeah. I guess, and back then, most of my friends were girls and stuff like that. Like but I wasn't trying to score.
We talked about this before too. You're also a weird cat in that respect, because I'm definitely generalizing all dudes. I get that. I'm painting with like the most broad brush of all time. Okay. So don't take offense,
no, that's all good.
You or the listeners, to any of this dumb shit I'm saying. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm just oversimplifying and dramatically generalizing. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
Dude.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, no, but I just, I am a weirdo. I'll be the first person to admit it.
Right.
You
are a weird cat. And that's why I like you so much, because you're a fucking maniac, dude. I've told you that many times. You're insane. You know that, right? Like, you're fucking crazy.
I am completely insane. I'm well.
But that's why you're
well
good. That's why you're successful. But to go back to the point is like that. I want more chicks on. I want more diversity.
Yes.
I want to talk. Yep. I want to start talking to more comedians and more athletes and like. Because music's just a part of what I am, Yeah. It's not my only focus, and this is never supposed to be a music podcast. That's why there's no music in the name of the podcast.
But it gave you ground to stand on to, create this whole thing.
It's the foundation, and I'll never alienate that. It's like, literally look at it like Rogan, where his foundation was comedy. Not the UFC, not any of this other shit. It was comedians and comedy. So he'll never stop having comedians on. Think of it like that.
Yeah.
I just want to get away from having fucking metalheads on
being stereotyped.
Every other fucking podcast.
I get it.
No disrespect to them.
Yep.
If I am disrespecting them, then I'm disrespecting myself as well, because I'm a metalhead. You know what I mean?
Right. No, but I was raised on the metal. That was all my thing, man. My first concert ever was the Clash of Titans tour with Anthrax, Megadeth,
no shit, huh?
Anthrax, Megadeth, and Slayer as they were rotating headliners and stuff. I think Megadeth was pretty much the headliner, but Alice in Chains was opening up off the Facelift tour.
Best concert you've ever been to?
Ooh, damn, man, that's a really good question.
That's a hard one.
That is a hard one.
Can you pick a favorite concert you played?
That I played?
Yeah. Like, is there one that's the best? Not necessarily your best performance, but like your favorite, the one you enjoyed the most memorable. For me, it's The Rock with Head Charge. It's easy.
Yeah. I did the Sioux Empire Fair down in Sioux Falls with Trapped. Okay, Trapped was the headliner. It was about 5,000 kids. It was pretty insane. And we were direct support. I think there may have been one opener or whatever. But at the time we were getting a lot of radio play down there and stuff. We had a song that was in full-time rotation and stuff. And we had just a stellar lineup. The band was unstoppable. I mean, we had every great position had greatness in the group. It was so easy and it was so much fun, and that crowd was going fucking crazy. And so we're getting ready to play our single from the new record that the radio station's spinning. We get in the first verse, and the road manager for Trapped decides to cut our set short during this fucking song. We are crushing Trapped. It's not even fair what happened. And we just went, I mean, I had, you know who Wayne Kyle is.
Mm-hmm.
So Wayne was on guitar on one side. I had Brian Adams on the other. I've got fucking Derek Abrams on drums behind me. I mean, it's just, we were a fucking machine. And, and the crowd was reacting to it and stuff like that. Everybody was singing along. Fucking, I could hold that mic out and 5,000 kids singing every fucking word. It was so awesome and so cool. And then they cut our set short. Well, the front of house guy was just like, what the hell, So he left my vocal mic on. So what I did was I sang the chorus of the song, and I just held it out there and let the crowd fucking finish it for me. And I sang, just a little call and response thing. And I'm like, we don't know what just happened. I knew what happened. But I was just like, hope you guys,
handled it like a pro.
Thank you very much. Thanks for singing along. God love y'all. And yeah, man, it was that was probably one of the most memorable shows. But the following year we did that with Alice in Chains. So that was cool because it was Alice in Chains' first show back with new singer guy, and it was incredible. It was so cool because I had seen them with Lane on the Facelift tour, so it was like their first real showing on Facelift, and then now with the new guy who's incredible. But I'm standing back there by the soundboard, and what's my drug of choice? Hearing that fucking harmony and that hearing those songs from Dirt and everything like that. And they'd only played like a couple new songs, but they were just doing more or less all the candy from the first few records and stuff. And just sitting back there by the soundboard, just shutting my eyes and just the hair standing up. I mean, I didn't even have to play the show. It was fun to play it and saying that I did it, but just listening to them coming back out with this new energy and this new thing was really, really, really badass, man. I'd say those are probably a couple of my favorite ones to do.
That's fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty fun, man. I've been lucky.
What's the worst one you've ever played? That's a longer list to choose from, probably.
Well, I will say this. There are two shows that stick out in my mind as being the worst shows that I've ever done. And one of them was really unfortunate. We did the Machine Shop up in Flint, Michigan, and we were on the Candlebox tour for their reunion tour. And if you looked at, I was a dumb fuck and did not hire a road manager. I should have had somebody to do our day-to-days for that tour, because we did like a month and a half of them or something like that. I don't even remember how long it was. But so our first show was in Rock Island, Illinois, and awesome, massive crowd. I probably played my best show I've ever played that night. By the end of the tour, when we got to Machine Shop, because of all this personal bullshit that I had going on back at home that was stirring the pot, and I didn't hire a road manager. So literally, I'm getting, after the show, I didn't fucking, I barely drank, barely did anything, fucking just stayed business the entire fucking tour for the most part, until I lost my mind and my band's like, we're getting you fucked up. Go do your thing and go get crazy for a night or whatever. But I was getting everybody's ass up at fucking 9, 10 in the morning. Okay. Get us over to the next town, which is usually between 3 and 4 hours away. So we get there, have to be there. We have to be there by 1 o'clock.
Right.
So we sit around from 1 o'clock until 4 o'clock watching Candlebox sound check and whatever. And our gear is all loaded in. So you just sit there and, just, oh God, this
hurry up and wait.
Yeah. This day's taken for fucking ever. And
my least favorite part about touring.
Yep.
Hurry up and wait. Hurry.
Yep.
And then you get there and then it's okay. Now wait for 4 hours.
So doors are maybe at like 6. Okay. So by 4:30, 5 o'clock, Candlebox is done sound checking. And then we have to get up, hurry up, do a quick check ourselves and get all our gear on stage and everything. Well, then we wait through the opener set. Then we go on, play our show. Then we have to wait through Candlebox's set. Well, I had no merch guy because I wanted to handle it all. I thought I could be fucking Superman. Did that. So selling merch and whatever. And I'll tell you what, bass player Steve McClurg is a fucking super trooper, man. Like I don't think I could have made it through that whole thing without Stevie, in all honesty, because he's just he gets it. And he saw me just fucking withering the whole time and stuff. And then I had all this personal baggage going on back at home and stuff like that with an ex and everything. And it was a nightmare.
Sure.
So then after the show gets done, then you load out your gear because you can't open any kind of, back doors or anything like that while the headliner's on stage and shit. So then we get all our gear out, have to get it all loaded. Okay. And this isn't me. My band's out there mostly drinking for the most part and partying it up and doing their bit.
Right.
And, so good for them. I'd blame myself for this. I don't blame them, but, so get all that shit loaded. Well, let's be honest. It's part of the job. It is. And then I'm the only sober guy. So it's like, get everybody rallied up and shit. All right. Get in the van. All right. Let's go to the next town. Okay. So, or else wherever we're staying that night, get back to the hotel, probably at about, 2, 3 in the morning sometimes or whatever. Well, then I'd have crazy ex-girlfriend giving me a call. Who are you with? What are you doing? I know you're doing drugs. I know you're drinking your ass off. I know you're fucking this girl or that girl. It's just like all this shit that we've all gone through with some kind of psycho ex that we fucking, we found some weird appreciation from, while we were in that moment. But just made my life hell until about 4 or 5 in the morning. Mm-hmm. So then I get a couple hours of sleep, get everybody up again at 9, fucking rally the troops. Okay, we got to drive to this town. Or just, it was wash, rinse, repeat for that whole thing. So Rock Island, Illinois to Flint, Michigan. I saw a video of the Flint show. it was the most embarrassing thing. I mean, I know 15-year-olds that would have kicked my ass like fucking vocally, like I sounded like shit. I looked like shit. I thought I was having a good night. It was just like, nah, dude. Like you just literally exhausted yourself because of all this crap.
Suffering from road rash.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that's what we call that. That's the fucking road burn. I've heard it called road burn. I like road rash better because it's a great video game.
Yep. but yeah, Flint, Michigan, I was just a piece of shit. And then we did another show on the following tour. We did a show in
Is it getting chilly in here?
I don't know. I'm nice.
You good?
I'm cozy.
You good?
Cozy. Did another show in like Dayton, Ohio or something like that. And the sound guy, we didn't have a front of house guy or whatever. We just used that whoever the house guy was. This dude, it was all like 2.5K just coming through the wedges and everything like that. And I had 2 songs in, I'm like, I can't do this. Please fix your fucking problem right now because the wedges are just screaming this shit.
Right.
And I've never walked on a show in my entire life. That was the first one that I did. I'm like, I'm done.
No shit.
We're done. Because it persisted through the next like 15, 20 minutes. And that's assault on your fucking ears at that point. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, those would be the 2 worst, I'd say. But
wow. Fucking wild.
Yeah, the joys.
Yeah. I was pretty lucky with that kind of shit. I think the worst show I ever had though was Battle of the Bands in Wisconsin. We were the only metal band on a hardcore show. We were not well received. We weren't booed off stage, but I had never heard silence when we had gotten done before, ever. Yeah. Like even to an empty room, there's some motherfucker like, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
nope,
yeah.
This was actual crickets. You could hear the crickets outside.
Yeah,
that's how quiet it was in the room when we got in between songs.
We did a show with. I was just telling the story the other day. We did a show with Seven Dust at the House of Blues in Chicago, and there was a band called Dep Swa that was the opener, and they're on Geffen. I think they were just kind of coming out. Well, they kind of played their set. I think House of Blues in Chicago holds probably a couple thousand, I'd say at least. And I think we were getting a little bit of love on the rock station down there, Q101, I think it was, or something. And the first 4 songs of our set. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Why not? Okay. My clown nose here.
No, you're
but the first 4 songs of our set, the entire floor was doing this, just giving us the fucking finger.
That's the worst.
And it's like they didn't give 2 fucks about us. They wanted to see Seven Dust. They did not give 2 shits about what Skywind had to offer.
That's weird. That's not a Seven Dust style audience. Usually their opening crowds are fucking sweet.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone open for Seven Dust and ever get anything but like support.
Dude, well, I mean, we were different too. We had fucking keyboards. We're probably
yeah, I suppose.
We're Duran for Christ's sake to them.
I never thought about it that way. You're probably right. Yeah.
But
like what I had in that hardcore festival.
Yeah.
Or Battle of the Bands or whatever. Yeah.
So literally everybody's just sitting there, just giving us the finger for the first 4 songs. Well, then finally we got to our single L'Hommage, which I think was getting that radio love and stuff. Then all of a sudden, I literally, you see a complete about face with the crowd where they all turn and kind of look at each other like, oh, yeah, these guys. And next thing you know, it's one big pit.
Wow.
I've never seen anything like that before in my life. And it was just, dude, my balls shrunk so much for those first 4 songs. I'm like, we're going to get murdered up here.
Yeah,
it was intimidating as fuck.
I literally remember that set. I remember that show. And I remember turning to my drummer and going, we're going to fire through this set, like go directly into the next song.
Yeah.
Like we're not taking breaks.
Right.
And we're going to cut this 1 or 2 songs out. Yeah. Like, let's just get out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
Like it was just not good. I'm surprised you guys made it 4 songs deep without fucking with your set at all. Cause like, luckily it's not like comedy,
Yeah.
Like, we can adjust our set or our energy. We can change things up without anybody knowing we've changed things up.
Yeah.
And so for us, it was like, okay, here's how we're going to improv it. I'm not going to do my typical banter in between songs. fuck the water breaks, fuck everybody's break.
Yeah.
Cut these 2 songs. None of us really liked them. We only had them in the set anyways to get a full 40 minutes. You know what I mean? We were like that level band.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I just remember looking at Pat and I'm like, dude, just pull those 2 songs out of the set and go directly into every song. And he's like, are you serious? And I'm like, because most of those breaks were for me, to be honest, so I could get water breaks and like,
for sure.
Because being a lead singer in a metal band, you fucking lose your voice, you burnt out.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'm sure, dude. Let's just get out of here as fast as possible. And we didn't even place last place. There was one other band that got less votes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's freaking awesome.
It was fucking hilarious. I think we even got paid for that.
Hey, whatever, man. That's pretty cool. If you can make a little dough on it, you know. But the dude, that whole thought process of let's just go get fucking done because this is not going to end well. Like there's been a few nights like that. I think we had a club owner in Montana one time. It was like somewhere in like Bozeman, Montana, or somewhere.
It's the only time I've ever done that, by the way.
Yeah. It's because you want to give your show.
Yeah, and usually it's like, nope, we're not compromising. You know, we've worked this hard to get this far. Mm-hmm. Blah blah. Yeah, and you just do your thing, but not that night.
Some of the best shows I've seen have been because of the banter in between the songs. You know, that it adds a little comedy or adds a little like, especially when bands don't take themselves too fucking serious.
Well, and this is the thing is we were trying to be a serious band at least at that phase. I hadn't really discovered my presence on stage yet, even though I'd already been in a couple bands as a lead singer. Because I was always really cocky on stage. But it was a false confidence to cover up the fact that you're scared and nervous, you know, when you're that young.
I think a lot of people do that, yeah.
But it was in this band where I stopped giving a fuck. And I was like, man, I got this shit. Like, this is getting boring. You know, I was already getting kind of sick of metal, you know, like vocally at least. And I never did that again. After that, whenever we'd have those awkward shows or moments, I would go after the crowd. Like, I'd start making fun of people. Like, oh, you guys aren't feeling us, huh? Yeah, must be the white belt.
Do you know who Dave Burkhart is?
I know the name.
Dave's my favorite asshole. He does a lot of solo acoustic gigs and stuff like that, and but around the cities, he's got like a regular spot at No Neck Tony's out in Stillwater. Dave is one of the greatest insulting motherfuckers. Like, he has no fear of anybody, and I don't know how he hasn't gotten limbs broken or whatnot, because as soon as there's a heckler, you're fucked. You are fucked. And dude, sometimes I can be quick, but this guy, it's just, if he was doing stand up, I'm sure he'd destroy it.
Right.
But just, you know, gets done playing his song, Freebird, oh fuck you, dude. Just fucking all of a sudden he will just go and level that motherfucker, and just that's almost more entertaining than him actually playing. He's a very talented guy, can sing his ass off, play his ass off. But just what he's going to do to that guy, that heckler or whatnot. And some people just, they beg for it. You know, they want to get to be part of the show. So, because you're going to get destroyed by Dave Burkhart. Dude, it's really fun. I'll have to drag you out there sometime and go see him, dude, because he's the shit. He's totally fucking awesome.
I'll come out, dude.
He played with, I don't know if you know who Tony Sims is. He's a blues player. Back when the whole Johnny Lang and all that kind of stuff, there was Tony Sims was the other big blues kid in town and stuff. And Tony was a very good guitar player. Ended up moving down to Atlanta and stuff. But Burkhart was his other rhythm guy, but also could solo his ass off and stuff too. But yeah, dude, he's a really fun show.
When's your next gig?
Oh God, let's see. I'm up in Albany this weekend with My Famous Friends, with Dan and I doing our bit. We got 2 shows up there. Actually, I think one of them is closer to Upsala, Minnesota, if you know where that is. Exactly. we have cornered the nowhere markets, more or less, you know, where people, like, there's a bar out there.
People don't realize, man, when you get way the fuck out there, there's nothing to do. So you'll get, like, I'll never forget Milltown, Wisconsin. Fucking played at a pizza joint. Yeah. But it was an old theater.
I bet it was packed as fuck too, wasn't it?
Dude, you would get 500 kids from 400 square miles because there was nothing else to do.
Right. Exactly.
It was amazing. And if you were good, if your band was good, it was even better because you could like literally sell that building out and have kids outside trying to just hear through the door. Like you became a big deal really
That's
fast.
cool.
All you had to do is be good and go there twice. By the third time you showed up, you sold that room out.
That's
if
great.
you didn't sell out that room, if you were there a third time and you didn't sell that room out, it was your band's fault. Like
Right.
you guys aren't good.
Yeah.
Either you sound like shit because your equipment or your songs suck or there's something wrong. Because these kids are starving for music. And they will support shitty bands. That's where we got the confidence to go back out there because the first time we were invited out there, we opened and the place was like there was like 9 kids there. And it was like, here we go again.
Yeah.
And then the second band went up and there was like 30 or 40 kids and I was like, wow, sucks for us. And then all of a sudden the headliner showed up and like that fucking place was full. Yeah. And the band was pretty good. I can't remember the band's name. I think it was Rake. You know, one of those new metal band names.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember those guys.
I think that was them. I think it was them. And
Okay.
I just remember calling Joe Spanbauer and I was like, book me again in that town, but I don't want to open. And he's like, I wasn't going to make you open again. And then the second time we went back, we played second.
Yeah.
Only we had the same size crowd as Rake because they had heard about us from the first time.
Yep.
So people were like, dude, everybody is raving about this other band too. Let's go check these guys out. The third time we went there, we headlined and Rake didn't even play.
Yeah.
Like we brought 2 other bands with us.
Yep.
And I can't remember the name of their band, but I do remember who it was. I'm not going to name his name, but it was a very arrogant decision on their part because I literally was going to make them do the same circuit Spanbauer made me do.
Yeah.
And so I invited them out there. The first show, you always open. The second show, you play second, and then you go back out there and you headline on your own.
Yeah.
They came out the first time and played to that same 9-person crowd that I did. And when I invited them back and I was like, but this time you guys are going to play second, they were like, yeah, that place doesn't really have anything to offer us. We're not interested. Thank you. And I was like, ooh, you fucked up. Because they left after they opened for us the first time.
Oh, so they didn't get to
they didn't see I paid them right away up front.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, we're going to take off. Thanks. And I was like, you're not even going to stick around? And they're like, no, I mean, it's dead. And I was like, it's not going to be. And they were like, so-and-so's got to work tomorrow or some shit like that. You know?
Yeah.
They didn't.
Yeah.
They just like, oh, man.
Missed opportunities, man. But you know, how many times have we been set up with the same thing of like, dude, it's going to be fucking packed. It's going to be great. And you got like 6 fucking kids. And
you remember when you gave me that referral out to South Dakota? I was booking shows and you send me up with something baby in South Dakota. Something baby.
Boy, I don't even remember. Yeah, I don't know.
Can't remember the name of the band, but Baby was in it or Daddy or something like that. Something weird. Wasn't a very good band name.
Yeah.
They were a decent band, good musicians and shit. You recommended them to me. I got in touch with them. We were going to do a show swap. They invited us out, promised us the world. We get there.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, yeah, something happened with that venue. It got flooded or some shit. So we're moving it to this venue. It's going to be great. Don't worry about it. We played there before. Might be a little weird when you get there, but it'll fill out, I promise.
Yeah.
It never filled out.
Yeah.
Even when the headlining band went on, there was still 50 people there. It was at a restaurant and bar. Where they cleared out the tables off the dance floor when bands started playing.
That's what we do all the time.
And they had, I mean, don't get me wrong. The Rock, Star Central, they used to pull that same shit.
Right.
But those are also, at one point in time, those were bona fide music venues as well. This place was like that. They had a good sound system, great lighting. Everything was fine.
Yeah.
But dude, there was like 50 people there, and I think 6 people seen the band I booked from Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give them a free plug because we didn't end on good terms.
Right. But dude, I mean, that's, you know, the club, the aura of the music venue can mean so much. You know, I mean, if you're like Pizza Luce up in Duluth used to be a spot to go see bands, but how many clubs are there up in Duluth that you can actually go and check out a show in and stuff like that. But that we actually went and we did a show up there, and I couldn't believe it when my agent booked me there. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, no, trust me, it's gonna be fucking packed. Stage is all right. It's a little weird. It's a little quirky, but people love the shit out of this place. I'm like, I don't know, man. So sure enough, we go up there and full fucking bar. It was ridiculous, and I don't know, but some of these places, like we did. What is it? Club Raven. Was it Club Raven?
That sounds right. Is that
it's a Milwaukee.
Do you know Pojo?
Maybe.
Sean Pogula? He was in a brutal metal band. He was from Duluth.
Okay.
He helped build that whole thing up there that to Petracy eventually benefited from.
Yep.
Even you guys.
Yep.
Because he came up in like the early 90s.
Yep.
So he probably might have. There's a very good chance he was even still a part of that, and how and why you guys got up there and had crowds to play in front of. He's coming back on the podcast too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the same club, the Raven. That sounds right.
Well, no, Raven was in Milwaukee or outside of Milwaukee, I think.
Oh,
damn it! But no, it's the God damn it, Eagles Ballroom was the big one in Milwaukee. I don't know if you know where that is.
That sounds.
And
right.
then there was a smaller venue adjacent to it, kind of like how people say they're playing First Avenue, but they're actually playing fucking 7th Street Entry.
Yep.
And 7th Street Entry sucks. I don't care who the fuck you are. It's just
I don't know, man. It's cool if you pack that place. It's a cool vibe.
Sounds like shit.
Depends on who's running sound. I'm telling you, dude. I've heard some bands and they're fucking crush. I went there and seen your boys one time.
Vaudeville.
Dude, they played with my buddies, Red Desert.
Okay.
Whoever was running sound that night must have really liked those bands.
Really?
They all sounded... You might have ran sound for vaudeville that night.
Probably Mike Scott. Mike Scott probably did it. Mike's really good.
Whoever did it sounded amazing.
Yeah.
Whoever
it was Mike.
Whoever it was like, oh, you guys must actually like these bands because like the sound is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what it always is for me. Is like there's certain venues that seem like they sound like shit. Club Underground used to get that rap. Club Underground.
Oh yeah.
People would be like,
they'd
be like,
"It's awful."
Again though, people would be like, they'd say all this negative shit.
Yeah.
And then we started playing there, and we had Joe Engel come in and run our sound, just ours, not the whole bill. And people would be like, dude, I don't know what the fuck is going on there.
Yeah.
But you guys sound amazing. Like, I hate that room, which is why I never come to your shows. But I finally, somebody twisted my leg or arm or whatever, and I finally went there. And holy shit, you guys sound really good in that room. What's the secret? And it was like, well, first of all, this is Rich's old kit. The fucking, the Star Classic.
Yep.
Kevin's rocking top-notch pro gear. Even though our guitar player John had technically a non-expensive guitar rig, it was still tube driven.
Well, if
120 watts.
If you get a sound engineer that gives a fuck,
and that's my point. Then the final thing was it was Engel.
Yeah.
It was fucking Jingle sitting back at the sound booth. That was the secret.
But I've been in the booth at 7th Street Entry and stuff, and I think Ron was running sound, and he's really good, like really really good. And I get in there and it's just like I think they've got this, I don't know what they have in there now, but it was like some shitty Mackie console or something like that. Like it sucked. The whole setup sucked. You could just tell they did not give a fuck about that room whatsoever. They care about the main room, which understandably so. That thing sounds like gold. It's still the best stage I've ever played on in my life. But they just fucking care. But Ron runs sound in the A room, and I've heard his mixes in there, and they're pristine. They're awesome. Didn't matter if it was a Sunday night or Sunday afternoon metal show or whatever the hell they used to do when they used to do the all ages shows or whatever.
Yeah.
Or if it was a national act. It sounded just awesome. But then once you get in that fucking, I think it's because of where like the direction of the speakers, you've really got to know that room, because like how they're kind of aimed down at the crowd like that, because it's like a little bit bigger than this room, and then you've got from where the console is and stuff. I don't think
it's up to the side.
Yeah, you don't have a good representation of what the fill of the room is and everything and stuff. It's like
That's why I think it takes
like
a really good sound
Caboose
guy.
sucks too. Like they finally got smart and moved it down from that stupid crow's nest up top and put it down on the floor because you're fucking right there on the floor. You can actually hear the mix. Up top,
you're hearing a totally different mix.
I ran sound for Wither the Tide at Caboose once. It was a nightmare. Like just going up and down that stupid fucking ladder just to get in some tiny ass little room, little crawl space or whatever. And it sounds completely different on the floor than what it does up there. Why? Well, science, fucking the speakers are pointed down at the crowd. They're not pointed up at me in the fucking mixing room. It's simple physics, and making that trek every time. Okay, let's hear your kick drum. All right, whole kit, go downstairs. It's like, fuck. All right, go back to the drawing board. Okay, hear this frequency, hear this. So, like, if I didn't know the science behind it, they would have been fucked.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude,
that's why I'm saying, like, 7th Street, the old Caboose setup, a lot of those places traditionally sounded like shit. Just because, honestly, whoever you had running sound for you that night sucked.
Yeah.
Because you're using the regular front of house sound guy, but you're not a big band, you're not a named band, so they didn't bring in their main guy.
No, that's
they
true.
brought in a
That's
different
true.
guy who doesn't really know that room. And I've gotten really lucky since Dying Euphoria. Cody Scott wanted to jump in and do sound for us. Him and Zeus. Zeus ran lights because they were the guys at the Rock.
Yep.
So then once we started fucking around, they wanted to come do sound for us at every show, but they made sure they were doing the sound when we showed up at the Rock. And then we played Club Underground, I think, once or twice, and Jingle came out and seen us and was so overwhelmingly disgusted with the sound that he decided, he's like, I'm running sound for you from now on.
Yeah.
And he would literally, we didn't even have to call him or tell him. We would just book shows and like just put out promo, and he would just show up that night and run sound. Like,
that's cool.
It was like the best version of having a band member.
Yeah.
Like he would just see a flyer or a Facebook post and be like, oh, I'll make sure I'm available that night. We didn't have to clear it with him. We didn't have to ask him if he was busy. We just booked our shows and he just showed up. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, you guys sound amazing. What happened? What did you change? What did you do? And it was like, well, we always had good gear, and now we have somebody that knows how to dial it in, so we sound good no matter where we play. When we did that warehouse show, where the Lift Productions thing, Vaudeville headlined that deal. Wither the Tide played that night, and we played that night. And it was funny because we hired Beneke to set everything up, and I was like, here's the catch. I think you're only running sound for the opening band. And he was like, what? And he's like, you paid me for the whole night. I was like, well, yeah, but we have our own sound guy. And I'm pretty sure Wally's going to run sound for both Wither and Vaudeville. Yep. And he was like, oh, that's cool. That just makes my job easier. Because he knew both of you guys personally, and he knew both of you were great sound guys. So he's like, okay. So he like literally set it up, ran sound for one band. You ran sound, then Jingle jumped in for us, and then you jumped back in for Vaudeville. That was actually a rough show for us, too, because we had a good crowd, but clearly Vaudeville outdrew us. But they were the headliner. They should have, right? But, dude, they had some rude-ass fans because people started chanting Vaudeville in between songs halfway through our set, and it pissed our fans off because we had some mean fans, too.
Yeah.
And so they started screaming our name, and it became this like war. It literally became like, who's got the bigger crowd? Who can be more loud? And it was like, Vaudeville has the bigger crowd, but we are louder in every way.
Right.
So it was like, and then I remember 2 of our fans got super drunk and wanted to start fighting the Vaudeville fans. And then one of my own security guys came up and he's like, dude, we got to get this guy out of here. I was like, nope. Just make sure he doesn't hurt anyone. And I grabbed him by the shirt and pulled him to the front of the stage, and I was like, quit fucking around. Yeah. And he's like, sorry, dude. And I was like, stop it. You're lucky you're not getting kicked out. And then I walked. Do you remember this? I walked back and sat on my drum set, and we finished the fucking set.
I do remember that night. I don't remember all the particulars about it. I remember Justin being there, though, and he's incredible.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he had the Red Rocks gig in Colorado for a while there and stuff, and I don't know if he's still doing it or
no,
whatnot.
he went on and started his own deal. He started his own company with some other guys, and they're doing something big. I can't remember what the deal was. I talked to him when I was in credit card processing.
Okay.
And they were in the process of setting it up. And I had moved from being like a regular sales guy to being a manager. So I never ended up following up with him properly because I was busy managing other guys.
Gotcha.
So he eventually signed up with somebody else. But yeah, I was trying to get their credit card processing under our company because we made money off that shit. You know what I mean? And it costs money to process credit cards. And we were really good at it. And I was like, dude, like, whatever you need to do, we got your back. And he's like, cool, man. Follow up with me in a month or two. And then, of course, I forgot and never did. But he was explaining to me what they were doing back then. And I just remember it was big. And I remember being like, this is fucking awesome, dude. It's really cool to know, like, this is a regular sound guy that came from Minneapolis. And then he got a job at Metro Sound. And then he started accumulating his own gear and then became his own sound guy. And then got a job as like a real sound guy company for a venue. And then eventually moved. So now he's like big time, dude. Like, and it was just cool to watch his little journey.
I did a show running front of house for a band called the New Black Seven, and they're a country band.
Why they got to be black, bro?
Well, there's 7 of them.
Because there's 7 of them.
But they had a hit called Fine Wine, and my buddy Dan for My Famous Friends was a bass player. And Tori, listen to this lineup. So Tori, the lead singer, who is my twin, but he's a foot fucking taller than me. So much to the point that when my mom saw us together, she's like, I can't fucking explain it.
Wow.
She's like, it's weak. So we get okay. So he's a lead guitar player for a band called Enough's Enough. Remember Enough's Enough?
I remember that band.
Okay, so that's Tori. And so now he
one
goes,
of the worst band names of all time.
Oh, I agree 100%. But they've got the 80s nostalgia. They're doing their bit. And so Tori will go in other parts of the country and run into people that be like, hey, Wally. Fucking, he's like, God damn it, dude. And I get a phone call or a message from him all the time where people are getting us confused. It's really hilarious. So Tori's lead singer. Jason Herman was the guitar player. He plays for Nelson. Okay, lead guitar player for Nelson. Then you had the drummer Brian Keeling, who was also the drummer for Fuel and for Shooter Jennings, and then Dan. So I'm running sound for these dudes, and I actually got to produce one of their tracks and stuff too. A song called Small Town Song. Check out the video online; it's freaking awesome. They did a really good job on it. But so we're doing this festival called Fire on the Rum, which is up in Cambridge or whatever. And some big national country, I don't know country music at all, but some big guy was the headliner where they were direct support because they had the song that was charting on Billboard and all that kind of stuff. And so I get, and I'm not super pro at running front of house. I know my shit well enough to get around a console or whatever.
I'm glad. I like that you made that distinction though, because there's levels to being a pro.
Oh yeah.
Like I use that term loosely on. You're a pro. You're a pro. You're a pro. There's still levels to being a pro.
Yeah. No, dude. My buddy Doug, who's he's front of house for Van Halen, for Meatloaf, for
the top.
John Fogerty, yeah, like Moody Blues.
That's that guy's Hall of Fame level. If we're using sports analogies,
yeah,
he's Hall of Fame level sound guy.
Doug's probably in the top 10 in the entire world. Like he had the Olympics.
He's HOF. He's future HOF.
Yeah, he had the Olympics gig for their chief sound engineer and everything and stuff like that. Like, yeah, he's amazing.
He's so good he gets a copy of the Platinum Records.
Right? Yeah, he does.
No joke.
He does.
You showed me those at your old place. Like it's weird. It's wild. It's wild. And again, like not to cut you off, but like the significance of our scene. Like I've almost been insulted. Not almost. I've been flat out insulted by the lack of respect our scene gets because it's like the amount of connections that we all have and the people we all know.
Yeah.
Like. It's one of the funniest things is some of the connections I have. I know for a fact most people probably think I'm full of shit. You don't really know that guy. You never really met these people. Right. You're exaggerating.
Yeah.
Well, here's the point is like, no. I went to that house. That dude wasn't there. I think he was on tour with somebody else. And I seen the Van Halen Platinum record hanging on the wall. I seen the Boys to Men Platinum record hanging on the wall.
Prince.
When you're that good, you get a copy because you're part of the team.
That's crazy, isn't it?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's that dude's level.
Yeah. Doug's
very
next,
few
Doug's
people are
next
at that
level.
guy's level.
So I've learned from him. I've studied under Doug and stuff like that.
And then there's like all pro, and then there's pro, or even maybe pro bowler.
Yeah. But I'm somewhere down the food chain.
Yeah, but you're still a pro. We're all pros here.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know. I don't consider myself that, but I was just
you are. Fuck off.
I just have a lot.
Eat shit, Wally. Fuck you.
You know.
You are a pro. Fuck off.
What was cool though was when we did the show. So you never know what the front of house guy is going to be like the hired guy, because sometimes they're going to be like, especially if it's a digital console you're not familiar with. There's little tricks and little things all over the place. And so I'm sweating it a little bit, because I know an analog console till I'm blue in the face. That's fucking easy. But some of the new digital stuff is just a little.
Well, yeah. I mean, how many bands on the EQ does it have? Is it a literal digital click, or is it a turned pot?
Yep.
There's so many variables in there,
dude. And everybody's got a different system. So I'm kind of sweating it a little bit. And the first person I see there is Joe Spanbauer, who's running monitors. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, so who's out running front of house? I'm like, and he tells me it's Beneke. I'm like, there is a God.
Nice.
Like, absolutely. I'm like, this is cool. And I walk out there, and sure enough, it's just like, I told him flat, I'm like, I am so happy to see you, because some guys will just be like, all right, fucking figure it out. See you later. And this is a major fucking festival that's going on up there. I mean, there's just thousands of people and stuff. And he couldn't have been any friendlier, any more kick-ass to hang out with and just laugh with. And it was I'm running sound, but I was having a good time with a buddy too. And he just made it so cool. And he's pro, man. He's got his shit together.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is he's getting up there now. He's got I think he was pro bowler level, maybe even verging on all pro when he did that show for us that night in that warehouse. I called those guerrilla shows. We ran them like raves. Do you remember that?
Yep, I do. Yep.
And
it was fun.
But they were rock shows, and they were fucking awesome. I just wish that snowstorm wouldn't have hit us, because we'd have had that room full.
Yeah,
we got hit with
though.
Oh, dude!
Yeah.
For the fact that there was 2 feet of snow falling
it was
on New Year's Eve,
I know.
I was shocked we had that many people come.
Right.
I literally was like, "Well, I just lost $5,000."
Yeah.
Boom, there went that.
Yep.
Wasn't really $5,000, but you get my point. It was just ridiculous. I think he was at that level, verging on that level when he left here, and then based on what he was telling me, he moved on to. Man, I got to tell you, dude, he's probably, like I said, potentially one of those dudes where people are going to start talking about him the way we talk about Duder. Would you say his name is Doug?
Doug Short.
I've never actually met him. Dude, I'd love to have him on the podcast. Is he back in town?
He lives in Vancouver now with his wifey. But if he ever comes back through again, then maybe I'll drag his ass.
I'd love to talk to that guy.
He's got stories.
I can give him so much shit about just being a sound guy and how difficult they are, especially if they're good. Especially if they're good.
Guy, though, he was also, a lot of sound guys will do the double duty of being tour manager too.
And he can and he can give us shit about all the annoying things we do as performers.
But he was road manager in front of house for Cyndi Lauper. For David Lee Roth when he was doing his solo shit and stuff. Which, when Howard Stern was doing his radio show out in New York and before he moved to XM, when they moved him to XM, they brought David Lee Roth out there to take over the show. Well, Doug, he's got a Doctor of Audio degree, understands how to properly compress and EQ radio or TV, because it's a different animal than it is being obviously running front of house and stuff.
Yep.
So Doug was a perfect guy for the job. So him and Dave moved out there and got an apartment together, and so Doug more or less took over the Howard Stern show with
I hope
with Dave Roth.
I don't even know if most musicians understand that they're 2 different degrees. Like if you go to school, radio and broadcasting to run AV is completely different. It's a completely different course. The only thing is you learn how to power everything on in both.
Yes.
Essentially, right?
Yep.
But the approach, the goal, the point of it, completely different when you're doing something like this.
Oh yeah.
Or radio
versus
music.
Sound like shit when they're on you know, the late night shows, you know, on Kimmel or on
Pull
fucking
that a little closer.
you know, these bands. Sorry.
You don't have to sit forward. You can get comfortable and pull it back.
But some of these bands sound like complete dog dick when they're, you know, on Saturday Night Live or whatnot, and that's awful. You know, especially as a listener, like I remember hearing Faith No More on.
Oh, because they brought in their own sound.
They brought in their own sound guy. It's like, you guys done fucked up. Let
him run your monitor mix.
Who know, yeah, exactly. Which is the most important thing for a band, anyways, is to have good monitors. But yeah, like I remember hearing Living Color or Faith No More, all that, and they sounded like complete shit. It's like something's not right here. Like.
Wow, I never thought of that. That's so fucking true.
Bass is completely gone out of the mix.
They brought in their own sound guy, so they got it to sound great in that room.
Sounds great,
but it sounded like shit on TV. I never thought of it. You're so right.
Kick drum sounds like popcorn, like fucking. It just like
it sounds so obvious now that you say it.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure you can think of hundreds of times where you've seen a live performance or something like that. And it's like, what's wrong here? There's no way this band could be that awful, you know?
Right.
And it's just, it really is who's at the main control of it. And now what a lot of times what they'll do, like Doug, I believe he's run sound on Letterman and stuff like that and a few other really cool places where he does know his shit. So he can be in the TV, the booth, the broadcast booth for those kind of things. And then they'll bring in an additional sound engineer for just the live audience. So they split the signal. So the audience gets their live show performance.
So now you have three. So you have a monitor mix, you have a live audience mix, and you have a stream mix.
You got it.
See, and that's what I've been trying to explain, because we're going to do something like that, and I think I'm going to need your help, and I know you're fucking busy, but I think you're going to want to be a part of this.
Okay.
So Chilton and I are going to do 2 merged podcasts.
Okay.
Right now, I'm just hypothetically calling it the Ritual Extravaganza, right?
I like it.
There's 2 versions of it. The one I'm going to talk to you right now, the most important one, because the other one I got. The other one I'll just produce myself. This one I need help with, though. Here's what we're going to do. It's almost exactly what we're talking about.
Okay.
So we're going to do a live podcast, and we're going to host a show once a month. We're going to start it as early as quarantine or while shit's still locked down. So it might just be us in a compound or a venue or someone's house.
Yeah.
If it's nice or big enough. And we're going to stream shows. Like 4 bands, the whole deal. But we're gonna start the podcast, and it's gonna be him and I for like an hour, just fucking bullshitting back and forth, and then we'll introduce the band, they'll play, and then while changeover's happening for that 10, 15, 20 minutes in between bands, it'll come back to us, and we'll fuck around.
Yeah. Or you could do it like Stern and just have one band and
no. This is what we're doing. Trust me, because when crowds come back, then it will absolutely 100% be at a venue.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. That's pretty cool.
You see what I'm saying?
That's very cool.
And it might be at a venue now, just to an empty venue. Dude, how kick-ass
would that be, man? You guys could, dude,
it's going to be awesome.
That's pretty stellar.
It's
idea,
going
man.
to be awesome.
Yeah.
And there's another version of it that there's really no reason to talk about it right now. But there's another version of it that we're also going to do, and that's also going to be great. They're 2 completely different things, slightly related. It's going to be fucking great. It's going to be. I'm super pumped about it.
That is cool.
We got a lot of cool shit in the works, dude. Like this little podcast community we're building here, and like trying to bring in the comedians with the musicians, and like, because there's no reason to go to LA or New York.
No.
Anymore.
No.
Like, and people are actually fleeing those places now.
Yes, they are.
And Rogan moved to Austin, and he's getting other comedians to move to Austin.
A lot of people are going there. Yep.
I don't have to actually build a community or a music scene or a comedy scene. Both already exist.
Yep.
I'm just trying to find a way to centralize and get us all there and start building this thing and building that equity online so we can get a little bit more exposure. It's going to take forever. I mean, it's going to take 4, 5 to 10 years before this thing even matters to the country.
It may go a lot faster than that, dude. I mean,
yeah, you never know when the fire catches.
Fire. Exactly.
Sure.
Yep.
You're right, 100%.
Yep.
But it's not about the overnight success. And where I was going with this is where I think we're going to need your help, or somebody like a Spanbauer is exactly that. Is I'm going to need to bring in a guy who's going to be able to get the stream to sound good for the bands.
Yeah.
But still have it sound good in the room.
Yeah.
So we're going to either need to split the feed or have 2 boards or whatever, or have 2 different guys in there.
Right.
It's not as easy as just like hooking up the mics, throwing them into a board, thinking it sounds good in our monitors here, and then throwing it online. Like, I want a good user experience. And same thing with the video. I want to bring in a completely different guy who knows how to run the video and get it to look good so it feels good. So it seems like we're doing something worth watching.
Yes.
And then when we bring back live crowds, it'll be a real event that's worth going to live. And if you can't make it because you can't get a babysitter or you got fucking exposed to the new COVID thing and you're on a 2-week quarantine, you can still experience the show. It's never going to be the same as being there live.
Yeah.
And you're never going to be at every show.
Yeah.
But once a month, we will do something like that.
It's special, dude. I think that's cool.
It's going to be awesome.
It's a freaking great idea. I don't mean to cut this short. I have to go pick up my daughter.
We've been going almost 3 hours anyway, so we might as well wrap it up.
Cut it short.
Cut it short. I know, 2 hours and 45 minutes. It felt like we've been here for 45 minutes. I know.
Right? Yeah, it goes quick.
I had to keep checking the time because I'm like, fuck, man, how long have we been going? I'm like, holy shit. But yeah, plug your shit. Where can people follow you, dude?
I'm just on the Facebook shit. Just Wally Joseph. Yeah.
Gotta get a website.
Yeah, I know. It's time and patience to put. Dude, I just not to fucking extend this anymore, but I just put did a store page for my shit, and I haven't launched it yet or anything. And dude, it is such a different animal. I used to build websites.
Talk to my guy.
10, 15 years ago, and now I'm just like, it's such a foreign fucking thing to me. It's
talk
ridiculous.
To my guy. Yeah. Especially nowadays, like it's kind of like what we were talking about before. Like, sure, you could probably pull off drums and guitar on any record you want if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
Or you can hire a really great drummer and another guitar player.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. And I'm telling you, you need to. Like the whole existing on social media, you don't own that. Yeah. That's why it's free. Yeah. Like you're the product. So we got to get off that. We got to start getting back to investing in ourselves. Get your own website. That merch store is sitting on your website. You can actually start figuring out where your actual fans are coming from.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you don't realize, but you're getting like huge traffic in West Virginia. And you're like, apparently we need to go play a show in West Virginia, you know?
Yeah. I do need to get on it for sure.
And all of us need to start doing this because if we want to actually make this whole thing we're all trying to do work, we got to start each one of us, because then you just go wallyjoseph.com.
Yeah.
And they can follow you and figure out what version of you they're into. Whether they're into you as a producer and that's why they're hitting you up, or they want to find your next cover thing with it's My Famous Friends, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Or they want to find the Skywind show. Like, because you got it's not just like, there's different shit we got going on, right?
There's a lot of shit we got
Get
going on.
Get them to your website and let them figure out which version of you they're a fan of. Or maybe they're a fan of everything.
Yep.
That way you're not like, oh, well, go here for this and go here for that. Just get a fucking website. I'll hook you up with my guy.
Cool. Please.
He's super reasonable.
Okay.
We worked out a little thing where he's got kind of like what he calls the local band package.
Okay.
Because he understands you guys aren't going to be dropping $8,500 on a fucking website out of the gate. You just need something functioning. Okay. But this won't make you look like an amateur either. Like when people go to your website, they'll go, "Oh, he's legit. Yeah, let's fucking da-da-da."
I dig it.
All right. Me for everything's just Jared Singer Live. All the socials, website's coming soon. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe. Helps the channel a ton. We do at least 2 of these a week. And tomorrow we got Ezra Tuaolo. Jesus Christ. I've said Tuaolo. I've said Ezra Tuaolo my entire life.
You guys must be super close.
No, here's the thing. I can say his name. I can say his name, no problem.
Right.
Ezra Tuaolo. And then just recently I realized I've been saying that wrong. It's Tuaolo.
Yeah.
So halfway through, I'm about to say it wrong.
Is he Samoan or Hawaiian?
Samoan. Yeah. Well, which is
same thing, I guess. Yeah.
Hawaiian is he's from the state of Hawaii.
Yeah.
But it's Samoa.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and so he's Samoan. But yeah, so now I'm about to say Ezra Tuaolo, and I always correct myself in the middle of it and go Tuaolo, and it's like it sounds like this big ass stutter, and then I have to start over. So Ezra Tuaolo, former Minnesota Vikings players on tomorrow, and we got Randy coming on Thursday. So thank you guys, like, subscribe, all that good shit. Yeah, peace out.
Cool. Thanks
for doing this, dude.
Yeah,
this was a fucking blast.
Yeah,
man.
it was a blast. Thank you.